Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Reenstra. I am, if you notice something a little off about me, it's because I'm a little bit cartoony today because we're living in a cartoon world. And I feel it only proper that if they're going to give us a cartoon, I give them a cartoon right back. Today in this live stream, we're going to be discussing something kind of serious, actually, which is weird for me, as you know. It is the death of Robert David Steele. And we're going to get into it a little bit, since nobody else on the internet is, even though apparently he's the ex-CIA agent, and was a part of a American Freedom Tour, which Sacha Stone was a part of. And I will be interviewing Sacha live on Monday to find out a little bit more about this death of Robert David Steele. They were on a American Freedom Tour, and then they split and formed two different tours. We're going to talk a little bit about that, not this evening with Sacha, but I'm going to cover the bare essentials. I'm going to try to do my best to not get my channel taken down before the interview on Monday. So, with me, that's always up in the air. Who knows? But let's just start this evening with a little bit of real news, and we're going to cut to that right now, and then we'll be right back.
We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Li Fook, and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB has confirmed these are the names of the pilots on board Flight 214 when it crashed. We are working to determine exactly what roles each of them played during the landing on Saturday. That's all, folks.
Yes, I'm back. Welcome, Richard Yahweh, Mandela Mile, Belinda Brubaker, Richard Zeb, Harley Green, of course, Blue Rage, Chad Barrett's, Queen, Miss Taz. I'm sure she'll be here soon. And just want to thank you guys for being here, all 11 of you. And of course, I am in Facebook jail. Oh, and that's normal. It's a new normal. Isn't it great that they already programmed us to, to be okay with this? Hi, Mickey D. Good to see you here. So we're going to get right to it, guys. We're going to get right to it. I don't know how much you guys know about the American tour, the Freedom Tour, but I want to play a little clip of Sacha Stone and Robert David Steele from, before they kicked off their tour. And by the way, what's so weird to me is I'm going online and I'm trying to find any information about Robert David Steele, ex-CIA agent, right? He's been interviewed by, he had a mass tour bus that traveled America. He's been interviewed by hundreds and hundreds of people. And yet, when you go on YouTube, not that it's surprising that you can't find anything on YouTube these days, but when you go on YouTube, you literally... let me just share with you every single, like the only things I'm finding on YouTube when I look up his death. You think one person like me, I've never met him, but was kind of involved in it because I happen to be, I don't know if you want to say a fan. I happen to listen to Sacha Stone, as I listen to many people, and I've liked what he's said. I've learned from him. And I always felt a little weird that Sacha Stone was doing this tour with Robert David Steele. I don't know why. I just I didn't feel like Sacha Stone fit with, middle America. It just felt a little weird. So I'll take off the cartoon face in a second so you guys can actually see my... Hi. Is that a little better? because I can express more like this. I know this is the autumn thing. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to make it a little more interesting with filters because we all have filters, and let's be honest, that's true. So mental pancakes, you say they killed American drug war. Evening Emerald Dreamer. Yeah, freedom is awesome. We're getting a real good sense of freedom-ish. So here's the weird thing, is that I've been looking up Robert David Steele, kind of dying of COVID. It's kind of a big deal. I think he's not a nobody. So let me just share this with you, first of all, just so like you can see one of the things that I looked up about his death. All right. I think maybe it made the New York Post for a second. Like an ex-CIA agent dies of #COVID in the hospital, but I love how much they can go with this. Okay. And apparently, just so you guys know, Robert David Steele was Chief of Justice on the International Tribunal of Natural Justice. So he was outing a lot of the certain things that go on in the government that have to do with kids. I don't even know if I can say the word because I just don't. One more strike and I'm off YouTube, and I have too many videos loaded to take that chance. But I think you guys can figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like, I have a pet. Oh, I like to feel it. The pet. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? It's like you can figure it out. Anyway, let's just look for a second here. We've got one article. Here it says, I have to wear my glasses again. Sorry. It says here, let me just show you. The QAnon anti-vaxxer and former Central Intelligence Agency CIA agent who insisted COVID was a hoax dies from the virus after his lungs stopped working. I love that that's in quotes. Like, does that mean it didn't happen? After his lungs stopped working. So apparently he did go to the hospital and he did ask to be, just to have all the stuff that he wanted to take, meaning ivermectin, vitamin C. He asked for all of that. And you know what? I've got inside information I'm going to share with you. Rather than it coming from me, I'd rather share it with you. So let me take this one thing at a time. So we'll just, so those of you who don't know who this person is, there he is. And his death was announced on Sunday. That's him in the hospital. He shares pictures from the hospital. His friend opened up about his death in a 14-minute long video shared on Instagram. And Mark Tassi wrote, RIP Robert David Steele. I'm sad to report the great patriot Robert David Steele just recently passed. As he spoke about his late buddy, he told his listeners, open your eyes, don't take my word for it, do the research as I have done. He was doing well until they put him on remdesivir. This immediately resulted in his oxygen levels dropping. They began shaming the family to force him onto a ventilator. Now, this is like, by the way, I'm just reporting. So YouTube, this is all only for entertainment purposes only. As you can see, so I'll be shifting in and out of cartoon form. When someone said this is all Florida is offering, Tassi said the state is being targeted because Governor Ron DeSantis is not going along with the agenda. In regards to Steele's death, Tassi said the whole thing's very suspicious. Vice's Jack Bryan posted to Twitter following Steele's death and recounted interviewing the anti-vaxxer who refused to wear a mask and claimed he was the first person to call COVID a hoax. So blah, 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 blah. You guys, I'll put this article here so you can read more of it. Apparently he did appear on Alex Jones a long time ago. And I do believe, I don't know, I've got to research more into this, but he said something about something on Mars. Like, I don't know if there were like sex slaves on Mars. I don't know. It seemed to be pretty crazy. And I think the fact that he did appear on Alex Jones and said this kind of stuff that seems a little weird. Maybe it's what's, I just can't even begin to think about the theories. First of all, and I don't read just the US Sun. That's not mine. But let me just show you when I'm researching this, like when I'm researching it, and I know, researching on YouTube, let's call me crazy, because that is crazy. Because you can't really research things on YouTube. But when I do, and I encourage you to as well, Because what's very interesting is when I researched this on YouTube, watch how creepy this is. All right. Every single video that talks about Robert Steele's death on YouTube, I ask you to find me one video that doesn't do this. Check this out. Now, like, why can't just a human like me, unless I shapeshift into an alien, but why can't a human like me just like report about his death? No, it's got to be this. And this is what creeps me out and makes me question certain things. All right, here we go. So looking it up on YouTube, this is one of the many videos on YouTube, and they're all robotic voices. Robotic voices. Okay. Can you guys see it and hear it? Just want to make sure you can see and hear. Let me check that. I don't want to say, yeah, I mean, symbolic, like, first of all, since he passed away, I'm not going to say anything bad about like anyone that passed away, but maybe he was a little bit into QAnon. I don't know, but here we go. Let me just play this for you guys, because this is the focus. This is what I'm asking for your feedback on, because I think it's really weird that every single video about an ex-CIA agent, you think there'd be one person that actually reported. Guys, he's been on Alex Jones. He's been around forever. He was doing a huge American-wide tour. Millions of people have met him. He had gigantic buses crossing America this year, and not one video on YouTube has a human being talking about it. Not even Alex Jones. Like, check this out. It's just so freaking weird to me. Okay, here we go. And it's just this robotic voice. This is it. Here we go.
59-year veteran of the USMC and the CIA has sadly passed away. Several fans, friends, and supporters reacted and stated their condolences on social media websites following this tragic news. Robert David Steele leaves behind his wife Kathy and 3 sons, Patrick James Steele, Matthew Brian Steele, and Sean Joseph Steele. His wife was Kathy Lynette Steele. The couple got married in 1988. The family needs privacy. Please respect them during this difficult time.
I mean, what? I gotta go back to cartoon, because anytime it's cartoon world, I'm going cartoon. Yeah, like a friend of his should be saying something. You cannot find, look, I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna literally YouTube. I'm gonna go YouTube, and I'm gonna literally go Robert David Steele, and then death. Let's see, another video comes up. Okay, let's look at this other video. Again, this is so weird. Hold on. Why can't it just be a human being talking? Why does it have to be a robot every single time? Okay, and when it's not a robot, check this out. When it's not a robot, it's just this. Which I don't understand. I need someone to explain this to me, and don't ignore it, because I need somebody to explain it to me, because it's really going to bug me, and I'm not going to be able to get over it. All right. So let's go to just a random other video that I just looked up. Robert David Steele dead at 69. Oh, the interesting number. Okay. Not going gematria right now, but check this out. Now, if it's not a robot, it's just this. Let me be the robot. Robert David Steele was a retired American politician and former military officer. He was also an author and had written several books on spies and secret intelligence agencies. Robert David Steele has passed away at the age of 69. His well-wishers have expressed their deepest condolences on Twitter. Meanwhile, the official cause of David's death is still unknown. As per Twitter user, he was admitted to the hospital on August 16, reportedly diagnosed with like, what the F? Like, seriously. Like, if I died, and by the way, you guys better all stand by me. If I die, you better not. If anyone calls it COVID, my people, you guys better, all 18 of you, you better storm the hospital and don't have a robot talk about my death. Rachel Reenstra, a former ABC Emmy nominated TV host, was diagnosed with, like, where are the people talking about it? Where? as I talk to you from a cartoon's point of view. I'm going to look up one more just to prove my point. Okay, one more. I'm just randomly going to go on YouTube right now, put in Robert David Steele death, see what comes up again. Oh my gosh, it just creeps me out, freaks me out. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna. Okay, here we go. There's another one. Here's another one. Are you ready? Okay, you guys stay with me here and please explain this to me. How somebody that was an ex-CIA agent, there's not one news agency reporting. There's not even like a real reporter like me as a cartoon. Okay, check this out. Again, we've got a robot. A robot talking about it. A robot.
Passed away at 69. Check. Robert David Steele passed away at 69. Check. How did he died? The most heart-wrenching incident is reported from the US, where the very famous politician Robert David Steele has passed away at the age of 69. Ever since the news took place among the people, everyone is going through.
Why is it a robot?
Because we lost a gem from politics. It is being told that the death cause is not revealed yet. They confirmed his death. He worked as a member of USMC, United States Marine Corps, for the US and served the government for almost 39 years, but later got transferred to the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. Numerous operations have been done under his surveillance, and he was nominated for the prestigious Nobel Peace Award in 2017. He got married in 1988 to Kathy Lynette Steele, and was blessed with 3 kids whose names are Brian Steele, Sean Joseph, and Patrick James Steele.
Okay, you guys aren't getting it. I don't know. It's just me. Why is there now a British reporter that's a robot talking about all? You just heard all the things in his life. He wasn't just a douche. He wasn't just a QAnon conspiracy theorist. He did some shit in his life. Like, he really did. And why is every single thing that I look up online, on YouTube, every single video, there's not one video where a human being is talking about it. Not one. Let me go to another one. I want to share my screen, but let's just go to one more. Okay. Let's see. I'm randomly, because I Google it, and I'm just going to, here we go. Randomly, I'm going to pick another one. Let's pick another one. See if it's a human being. All I want is a human being talking about it. Please, you guys, I want you to tell me why it's all robots. Okay. Ready? You ready to freak out again? I'm only going to play one more. You can do this on yourself. You guys can do this. All right. Yeah, it's creepy, prepared videos, but it's not, these prepared videos aren't for everything. They only seem to be for Robert David Steele's death. That's it. All right. So check this out. Check it out. I've never seen so many creepy, prepared AI robot videos that are, and I love how they give them accents. It doesn't really matter, but okay. So I'm telling you, I just randomly did this. Didn't have it prepared before. Here we go. I'm not going to keep playing these, but I hope you get the point. Here we go. So what do you think this sounds like? All right. So here we go. Robert David Steele dies. And each time I'm going, oh, maybe I'll get some information. Maybe like his family, maybe his friends, maybe somebody with a voice, somebody that's even me as a cartoon. I'm more real than what you're about to see. I've never seen so many AI robotic reports of somebody that was kind of a big deal, guys. Kind of a big deal. Here we go.
Death is reportedly related to COVID-19.
Oh my God, it's like a tranny.
Several fans, friends, and supporters reacted and stated their condolences on social media websites following this tragic news. An online user wrote on Twitter, "I have a hard time believing Robert David Steele died of COVID. I don't know what happened to him, but this makes no sense." Robert David Steele leaves behind his wife Kathy and 3 sons, Patrick James Steele, Matthew Brian Steele, and Sean Joseph Steele. His wife was Kathy Lynette Steele. The couple got married in 1988. The family needs privacy. Please respect them during this difficult time. One of his fans wrote, "For all these long months I have been a cheerleader to those around me. David, you are an inspiration. When I saw the post about Robert David Steele, my heart broke. I feel like I lost a friend and I sobbed." Another tweeted, "Rest in peace. Robert David Steele, rest in peace. Thank you for red-pilling the masses and standing strong against human trafficking, child pedophilia, and exposing the satanic elite governments around the world. Please kindly scroll down and—"
Hold on. I don't miss anything. Look at the next video. Chinese that this is what's gonna like that's what's gonna play next? Okay, so you know what I mean? You guys put it together, all right? Guys, is this not freaking creepy and weird? All right, don't get crazy like he didn't die or he's on Mars or like no, come on guys, please, because you're making me look bad. Making me look bad. As a professional cartoon reporter with breaking news, you're making me look bad. No one's on Mars. He really did die because I know Sacha Stone. Okay, now I'm going to play a clip of Sacha Stone and Robert David Steele right before they did the tour. All right? So guys, come on. Stay with me here, and then I'm going to give you some high intel information, and I'm going to show you a video I did find that I had to really research, and of course it's, not on YouTube, but I had to find a video of his last video, actually, before he died. He actually did go to the hospital. He did have bronchitis. He wasn't well, and he did not want to be put on an intubator. All that is factual, all right? All that's factual. Oh, my God. So, oh God. I don't think they took him out because I'm going to be, by the way, all of this is to preview. I'm going to be interviewing Sacha Stone on Monday live at 1 p.m. I will maybe start on YouTube, and I know Sacha Stone, and there's no way I won't get a strike with him talking. So I will start on YouTube, and then I will take it over to BRANDNEWTUBE because, anyway, you guys do the research on your own on that, but you try to find one video about Robert David Steele, an ex-CIA agent who was on Alex Jones. Come on. There should be some, even dude from Fox, what's his name? Cute guy from Fox who's a pretty good reporter. He didn't even report about it. Like, what the F is going on? All right, so now I'm going to show you guys because I have this planned a little bit. Yeah, he kind of looked healthy, but no. Listen, so if you don't know who Sacha Stone is, then you haven't seen my channel, and we can't even talk. I just can't even go into it. He's a humanitarian. He's from Africa. He's started Humanitad, started the International Tribunal of Natural Justice for human trafficking, for the voices to get all that out. He was also on the Freedom Tour, and I did see him on the Freedom Tour, but he split off from Robert David Steele. They had a parting of ways, let's say. And so they parted ways, and it wasn't a good parting of ways. And so then there were two tours. And then I did go and see Leah Daniels, who's this attorney for human rights, who's kind of an epic woman. She was the one that did that 3-minute video that spoke about, but yeah, I can't show it here, but spoke out loud about the V with children and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, look it up. Leah Daniels. It's American Arise Freedom Tour went this way. And then the tour that Robert Steele was on went that way. And Sacha Stone and Robert David Steele had a huge parting ways. So now there had to be two different tours when there was only supposed to be one. I'm going to quick show you a clip from right before they were going to do their first American Rise Freedom Tour. Okay, this is like good reporting from a cartoon. Seriously, I'm getting right to it. I'm kind of proud of myself. Here we go. Okay, and we are going, this is the Arise USA kickoff interview right before Sacha Stone and Robert David Steele did the tour. Okay, here we go. Gonna share it. Here we go. And gonna play it.
All right, guys. Hello, my name is Dr. Charnel Wolverton Sehan. So excited here today to have Robert David Steele and Sacha Stone. And we are going to discuss a very exciting event that's coming up here in just a couple days, actually, starting the USA Arise Tour. I say USA because these are probably going to go all over. And what do you have, Robert? Is that a pig?
That's his girlfriend.
Piggy. She will be my companion on this trip.
I love
lucky
it.
guy.
Okay, so just so you know, from what I see, like they're getting along. They're, kind of, I think at this point there is before they went on the tour. There's an interview with once they were on a tour. I could sense there was a little bit more, combative nature between the two. But Okay, guys, can you just focus on this for a second? Seriously. Here we go. He had a sense of humor, you know, and they were about to kick off going across country. I'm just going to just fast forward to the point of the tour. This is only like 4 months ago. Okay. Yeah. There's Robert and Sacha. This is what I'm telling you. They were on a tour together. Here we go. You know what? Maybe I should do the whole video. Maybe I should talk like this, like a robot, and therefore everyone will think everything is AI, and then it won't be taken down from YouTube. I can just continually talk like that. Now, all of a sudden, I went Indian. I don't know what happened there. Okay, here we go. Let's go.
Out of a basement, a spy in a basement's neural synapses fired up one day, and the following morning, this idea was born. I became complicit almost immediately, and you know, what can I say? Matter of a few weeks, and it's kicking off. Robert's in the unholy position of being the chief oversight administrator and money bags on the tour. It's not a fun place to be. It's really, as a producer, it's scary as hell. I know. My bit I've already done, which is the creative direction, which I did for the last few weeks. I've done it. I'm only in America now as a tourist, traveling along to see what happens and catch that conversation, because this is, without any question of doubt, the greatest conversation in modern history is about to be conducted in Middle America. No question about that.
You're talking about $5 million buses. You're talking about 90 stars assembled, all of them volunteers. Although I do hope to compensate the permanent party that's giving up 4.5 months of their life to being on this thing. Trent Loos had to hire someone to replace him on the tour. It is not a band tour. Even though some of us look like rockers, some of us don't. Sacha wanted to dress me up as a movie star, and I said, no, this is me. This is what you get. I've got 15 of these shirts in 5 colors, and that's all I'm going to wear across this country.
We can hook you up with like a crystal ring or some kind of cool outfit.
I was thinking Gianni Versace. I was thinking Versace, you know, the naked.
Been in this fight. The day will come when you will define yourself as whether you were in this fight or not. And the founding citizen certificate is our small token to basically identify people who have gotten into the fight. And this is, by the way, a non-violent truth and reconciliation fight. This is very much a campaign of peaceful dialogue. And I think it's going to succeed precisely because it is nonviolent and rooted in truth and reconciliation.
Right.
All we're asking for is our power.
Right. It's well, there you go. A God-given and natural-born power he's referring to.
Yes.
You know, we do not need to receive the dispensation of a goddamn fiction called government at any degree. And this is part of the dystopia that we find ourselves in, is that organic, living, sentient men and women of the living soil have been fictionalized and indentured as plantation slaves into the fiction of their own lives. That is fucking insane, and that has to end. Not just in the United States, but the whole world. America is the leader of the free world. It's the leader of the enslaved world as well. Let us not forget.
You know, let me point out that one of the most memorable things Cynthia McKinney said to me one day when we were in the RV driving across the country. Kansas is like flat. There's nothing there. She said, Robert, all this bad stuff that's happening to white people, they did it to black people first. And what white people are starting to realize is they are, in fact, slaves. Mm-hmm. And
anytime you want me to jump in and do something live and
go without leaving work or without missing work. Bottom line is, this is an evolving event. Nothing is written in stone. We are being flexible. And while I do get nervous from time to time, I think everything is going as it should.
Yes, you got this. I trust that you and all your team of people are going to get this great. And, you know, this has all come together organically and by intuitive God source anyway. So,
well, you know, we have the disadvantage of, certainly Robert has the disadvantage of not sacrificing babies to Moloch in order to make things turn out well. It's actually got to be hard graft and real faith and real grit, you know.
Yeah, I'm so glad the babies are.
Okay, so let me just get rid of this for a second and say, so are you guys here? Like I know you guys are talking with each other. That's great. No problem. I want you guys to connect, but I still need to understand why every single video about Robert David Steele is not done by any news organization. It's not done by a friend. It's not done by anybody that even, do you know how many interviews there are with Robert David Steele online? Do you know? Hundreds and hundreds. And yet, when you look about, and yet no one cares. Like the ex-CIA agent died of COVID, even though he asked not to be put on a ventilator. He asked not for all of that stuff. And yet, no one cares that there's like nothing out there but an AI robotic reporting. Okay, now that interview I just showed you was right before the tour. Now I'm going to show you a clip from when they were on the tour, and you're going to understand there's a little bit more, I don't know what you want to call it. I think, well, you know, if you have intuition and you guys are actually watching this and not just talking to each other, can you just watch this for a second? You'll see there's a little bit more, it says Memorial Day. It's a Memorial Day update. I guess it's Labor Day Monday. I always get those two confused, but this is when they're already on the tour. There's a little bit of a combativeness. This is before they broke up. I'll just quick show you this. Okay.
Community focused on the future of our children. And right now, the federal, state, and local governments are in a state of treason and crime, and they are all enabled by satanic pedophilia and trafficking in children and the blackmailing of elected and appointed officials. I have a site, pedo.
So right now, just so you guys know what's going on, this woman's interviewing them, and they're on the tour. And this is a woman that's, I don't know, light dancing. I don't know what her name is, but shoot, they disabled the comment, so I can't tell. But this was on the tour. Let me just cut into like halfway through the interview and by the way, this is May 31st this year. They're on the tour. This is before they broke up. Literally, I think like a week before Sacha left. Sacha and Leah Daniels, and Robert McKay left the tour. It was a very bad breakup. Did not end well. I will leave it to him to talk about that. And I'm just going to show you a clip of this so you see the evolution of what's happening without having a robot. Robert David Steele died in the, like, what is that? Why can't a human being talk about it on any news station? The ex-CIA agent dies of COVID. The dude that said COVID wasn't real, he ends up dying of COVID because he's this conspiracy theorist, QAnon, whatever. And it's not on any freaking network. It's just a robotic AI talking about it. Tell me what that is. That's weird.
Gene therapy, which is not really
well, that's like, whatever she's saying, I'm not behind. I don't believe that. I think it's an amazing vaccine. Everyone should rush out and get it. I don't know what she was just saying. I was just trying to show you guys something here.
The first, the title.
Yeah, well, let me point out that Los Angeles is also the center of
pedophilia. Okay, so I
Okay,
keep going
Los
to
Angeles
places where, so
pedophilia.
Rachel, you don't want to get taken down. That's anyway. This is.
Do you agree?
Well, Sherry, be sure that you are on the eve. We are on the eve, not just of the greatest resurrection of Homo sapiens in the history of the.
Okay, so it's still good. We're still talking about resurrection and all that. It's all good. It's all good.
Which is part
of
all
good.
The alchemization process of our resurrection means there must needfully be a bifurcation of all that no longer serves. And that is what we're seeing. And I'm sorry to say that includes some of our mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and sons and daughters. And we, each of us, need to be strong enough in the spirit, the sovereign spirit of our own standing, to be okay about triaging and moving on. We must not be going to the back of the queue to try and redeem the irredeemable or to retrieve the irretrievable.
These are wise words, by the way.
God, because this is the greatest battle of ages.
Still true.
Part of the great con right now is that we're supposed to go back and fall on our knees and try to rescue those
best advice ever right now.
Do not fall
best
victim
advice
or prey to that. I beg you.
Best advice.
You know, Sacha and I are a phenomenal comedy act because he talks in tongues and I speak in American English. And the bottom
So
line,
like, just FYI, I do read people's body language. Of course, Sasha's looking away going, what does that mean? Sacha just doesn't speak in tongues. He speaks in intelligent conversation that uses, he grasps the English language in a phenomenal way. And he is not afraid to say it like it is. Robert David Steele, I think at this point, because they're on the tour together, is apologizing for Sacha, saying, "Oh, Sacha might be saying things a little harsh. Like, if you take the V, you're a moron. If you take the V, you're this and that and whatever." And so at this point, Robert David Steele's trying to, oh, yeah, we're a great comedy duo because he speaks in tongues and I'm just your average Joe, right? Okay, so this is when I feel like it's a little bit more combative, and I'll just keep playing it.
here is that we are right.
Speaking in tongues.
Hold on.
I know how painful it is. Okay, but the bottom line is some people are going to die, and the vaccination may be that you need to go meet your maker. Now, the good news is I'm told that there are frequency and other energy things, and I want Sacha to comment on this. There are remediations for those who have taken the vaccine who still merit saving. And I'm not in the saving business. I'm in the community organizing business. And this is my last comment. We are the tour of the century. That's what others have said. There are people out there doing rah, 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 patriotic, God, mother country stuff. There is no one else that is taking 6 coaches and a gear truck to 84 stops across 50 states who is also providing solutions. BigBatUSA.org not only asks for money, it has a library that provides solutions. Eliminating the income tax, closing all our military bases overseas, providing job training with salaries for everybody who needs it, opening up the West, throwing the federal government off of all of the land it has misappropriated. This is a unity tour, and it is a solutions tour, and it is a community tour. Now, Sacha, please speak to that.
Very good. So we had probably the greatest voice in the country, Avocado Wolf, David Avocado Wolf, yesterday on stage, rapturous applause. And that maestro got up and delivered the antidote. Essentially, for Middle America, all you need to do.
Sorry. What he's about to say, and I don't want my channel removed before Monday when I interview him, is that because this is all just a reaction video to people's point of view, which if Anomaly can do it and other people can do it, I can do a reaction video, not taking any side whatsoever. As a cartoon, this is only for pure entertainment value. And that is what Sacha is about to say is David Avocado Wolf did get on stage and speak about those that have taken the Jabba Jabba Do. And that's what I call it, Jabba Jabba Do. And that is, oh my gosh, I'm looking at my patio right now and there's so many pine needles on my patio. I feel like I have so many pine needles on my patio. I should probably pick up those pine needles and make them into a tea or something. Because like that's how many pine needles I have. Okay, see what I'm saying? So Sacha is about to say how David Avocado Wolf was talking about those that did get the Jabba Jabba Do. There's maybe they can come over to my house and help me sweep up all my pine needles and make a tea out of it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say right now. And then we're going to fast forward it to the end. Now, just understand, guys, I'm going to get like this is a buildup. I have 2 more videos to show you, and I am going to make this shorter than my usual live streams, okay? Because there's a point to all of this. And then there's a build up to me interviewing Sacha on Monday because I've already spoken to him, and it's insane what he's told me.
I am being resurrected. America is being resurrected.
So I can't hear
and
it.
Sherry,
That's probably
I thank
best.
you
I
so
can't hear
much
it, but
for the opportunity to appear with you.
can you guys hear that or no?
You're
Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason you can't hear it.
spiritual voice, and I'm honored to be in
yeah.
your company.
It's not.
Thank you. And, you know, I understand, I have to say, I understand Sacha's, it's a frustration. I speak like that often myself too, just out of a frustration.
I've given up on him, Sherry. I've given up. I am no longer, I've been the most peaceable
humanitarian for 25 years. I'm in the public record. I regard it as imbecilic and moronic if you want to go and infect your own goddamn grandchildren by getting the vaccine. That's how serious it is. Everything is flipped 180 degrees. You are killing your neighbors and your family by getting the vaccine. And
this is where the bots are going to come out. I'm just listening to some crazy conspiracy theorists talking about this. How dare he? I think vaccines are amazing. They're wonderful. Everyone should go out and get one right now, ASAP, as soon as they can. Who is this crazy I'll keep playing this crazy because I think vaccines are amazing. But let's just hear what this humanitarian and amazing spiritual evolved human being has to say.
Shedding spike proteins. Wake up to that fact, Middle America. Wake up, because that is end of days.
Exactly. And this is not a vaccine.
Okay. So here's what's happening now. You can see that there is a battle going with a Robert David Steele right here, who's like, don't call people who don't take vaccines moronic imbeciles who are killing their grandchildren. Okay. Robert David Steele's like, please don't say that because you're basically going to make nobody show up on our next stop, like on the tour. So, you know, it's a tad quiet. I know the playback. Well, I can't do anything about that. They have horrible, horrible sounds. So you guys just turn up your, wait, let me turn this up. Okay. Yeah.
Therapy. It changes
your
DNA.
Hasn't been tested. We've had Dr. Tenpenny. She's confirmed on this tour. She is the single greatest voice along with Northrop. This is not an anti.
Okay, so Sacha, do you have anything to say in closing?
No, just thank you very much for the opportunity. Glad that the gods allowed us to have some measure of connection with you, and look forward to the next time.
Absolutely. I'll put links up, and I just want to say this is like Hindoku Iyaku, which is a Buddhist term, which is turning poison into medicine. Okay, so we're taking the poison and we're going to turn it into medicine, as you gentlemen are. You have my highest regard.
That's important.
Remember, be yourself, because everyone else is already taken, and keep it tuned because you have a right to know.
God bless you, Sherry. Thank you. Of perfection, which is the resurrection of human spirit, which will and does prevail.
Absolutely. And
let me also say, please, Sherry, let me also say that Sacha Stone is the genius behind the title of this tour, Arise USA, the Resurrection Tour. And I was just talking to Tina Griffin, who's one of our commanders. And Tina said, you know, Robert, it looks to me like you are resurrecting as a person, not just the tour and not just the country. And she's absolutely right. I have never been in the last 2 days talking to grandmothers who are beginning to come to a kind of new form of community power. America is resurrecting. We are God's agent. This is not me being smart or a genius or whatever. This has just come together in an almost incredibly magical, divine way. And, you know, Los Angeles, frankly, I expect the officials in Los Angeles to see the inside of a dumpster sometime in the next 30 days. And that's what I'm calling for.
It's very sad. The second largest school district, as I'd mentioned, New York being the first. The title.
Yeah, well, let me point out that Los Angeles is also the center of pedophilia. Okay, Los Angeles is pedophilia.
Sky, dark midnight, sky with a star. You're a star, Sacha. Robert, you're a star. I'm a star. Everybody, and all of a sudden we light up. But then what happens is the connection is made. It's like a matrix, and that is what's happening. And that's why I want to emphasize, and I want to hear from you gentlemen, that even though you feel the tides have turned, we still have to continue that. And people, instead of sitting back on your couch, watching the boob tube, everyone needs to help in whatever way they can turn these tides. Do you agree?
Well, Sherry, be sure that you are on the eve. We are on the eve, not just of the greatest resurrection of Homo sapiens in the history of this world. We are also in the dawn of a zombie apocalypse, which is part of the alchemization process of our resurrection, means there must needfully be a bifurcation of all that no longer serves. And that is what we're seeing. And I'm sorry to say that includes some of our mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and sons and daughters. And we, each of us, need to be strong enough in the spirit, the sovereign spirit of our own standing, to be okay about triaging and moving on. We must not be going to the back of the queue to try and redeem the irredeemable or to retrieve the irretrievable. We must stand at the vanguard because this is the greatest battle of ages. And part of the great con right now is that we're supposed to go back and fall on our knees and try to rescue those who do not wish to be rescued. Do not fall victim or
I hope
prey
you're
to
listening,
that, I
Taz.
beg you.
You know, Sacha and I are a phenomenal comedy act because he talks in tongues and I speak in American English. And the bottom line here is that
I've already played that. And welcome, Elgo. So good to see you or hear you or whatever. I don't know. You can't say see you. It's just a weird thing now. Okay. So let me just get rid of that and let me get anybody who just tuned in up to date, because I really do have to work tomorrow and there is going to be an end to this. So now what you've seen so far, or if you're tuning in now, what you have seen so far is Robert David Steele, who is an ex-CIA agent. He has also been Chief of Justice for the International Tribunal of Natural Justice against human trafficking. And he is also traveled America on a tour with Sacha Stone, and then Sacha Stone and him did break off probably about 2 months before Robert David Steele passed away in a hospital about a week ago. And if you're tuning in now, there's nothing on YouTube talking about this whatsoever. If you'd like to research this yourself, in fact, let me just again, go to YouTube and just punch in, just for the fun of it, guys, just for the fun of it. Let's just see one more video. Robert David Steele's death on YouTube. I'm Googling it and let's see what comes up. Let's just see what comes up. I think it'll be interesting because every single thing that comes up is it's literally a robot talking about it. Okay. And this is, again, I hope you guys who have been watching from the beginning of my live stream understand this is 4 of like 30 or 40 videos that are not done from Good Morning America or, come on, it's an ex-CIA agent who's come out. And by the way, maybe considered part of the QAnon, was against COVID, and he's considered COVID a hoax and then died of COVID in the hospital. You would think they would grab onto this and ride that train so hard and fast, because it's like the best thing mainstream media can do is to grab somebody who was all COVID's a hoax, blah, 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 like all that conspiracy stuff. You think they would grab that and then do a million videos on YouTube about it so the world could go, oh, those crazy people are not believing in COVID and he died of COVID and he was an ex-CIA agent, blah, 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 blah. What the hell is going on? This is like the 4th video I've showed you guys, just randomly Googling the death of an ex-CIA agent who, by the way, was traveling America. Hundreds and hundreds of people have interviewed him, and not one person's coming out on YouTube going, hey, except for me. Even on BitChute, even on Rumble, even on Odyssey, I've maybe found like 4 videos. That's it. Okay, let me just show you. And this is why I'm still freaking out. Creeped out. I'll ask Sacha Stone, who I will be interviewing live Monday at 1 p.m. Sacha Stone now lives in Mexico. We'll talk about that as well. I will be interviewing him because he did travel with him across the country on America Rise Freedom Tour. And if you Google Robert David Steele's death, okay, let's see what comes up, shall we? Let's see what comes up. Oh, this isn't creepy at all. No. The 4th video, and you listen to the reporter, and it's just this AI generated voice.
My name is James.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Hello?
It's so creepy. Hello. Listen. Oh God, this is so weird.
My name is James and welcome back to another great video. Before we start, subscribe to this channel and like this video for more content like this.
My name is James, and welcome back to the AI Freak Show video. You're not a human being. Please subscribe. Like, is this what the world's going to turn into? Is just these AI generated voices? Please, and they're even saying, please subscribe. What the F is going on, you guys? What's going on? Please tell me. Listen to this. This is like the 4th video I've showed about his death, and not one human being, not one reporter is reporting about this. It's all AI generated videos. What the fuck? Yeah, I said it. Fuck.
My name is James and welcome back to another great video. Before we start, subscribe to this channel and like this video for more content like this.
A former Marine, CIA case officer, 39-year veteran of the USMC and the CIA, Robert David Steele has died on August 29, 2021 at age 69 after been hospitalized and dragonized of COVID-19 since August 16. Steele has a degree in political science, a mastery of international relations, and a mastery of public administration. Robert David Steele was also an author and had written many books on secret intelligence agencies. Some of his books are On Intelligence, Spies and Secrecy in Open World, The New Craft of Intelligence, Personal, Public, and Political, and Information Operations, All Information, All Languages, All the Time. With the announcement of the death of the deceased, social media pages have been flooded with tributes, kind words and prayers from family, friends and loved ones. It is hard to lose someone, and we send our best wishes, prayers and love to the deceased's family, friends and everyone affected by this loss. We are yet to confirm details for the obituary and funeral arrangements of the deceased. We ask that the privacy of the family be respected until details are made public. Kindly check back or refresh this page, as this post will be updated with more information as they are made available at public.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to get emotional as a cartoon, but what the F is going on? Okay. So let's just look at some of these comments before I play to you what actually happened. Okay. Because I'm building up to it. Oh crap. I have to plug in this computer. It's gonna die, and then it's all gone. And it's all done. All the hard work I've done tonight. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, just chat room. Can you guys tell me what tomorrow is? What day of the week is tomorrow? Can someone tell me, just somebody in the chat room, what day is tomorrow? What day is tomorrow? Please tell me what day is tomorrow. Anybody? I know you guys are like 10 minutes behind me. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Belinda. This will give me a second to plug in the computer. Love you. Thank you.
Out of your quiver, you're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take.
Oh, it was perfect. Stall tactic. It was a fantastic stall tactic. I freaking love it. And just in case you didn't understand and you guys don't understand what I'm talking about right now, let me get a little clearer.
To mobilize true international effort to pressure.
What?
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
That just goes to show you, if you say something with complete confidence, I'm going to mobilize true international pressure. People are like, yay, whatever you said. Okay, let's look at the comments. Steele was a hell of a man. For everyone that doesn't know, he did come to Christ in the days before he died. And that's true. I'll tell you more about that. R.I.P. Robert. Robert's one of the few patriots who called out the you-know-who. Is it true? Nobody killed him. He died from the virus. He was ventilated. Okay. So anyway, these are just people commenting on a robot, but no one's like, why is there a robot talking about him dying? And there's not one actual algorithm. Look it up. There's not one YouTube, Robert David Steele, the death of Robert David Steele. There's not one freaking human being, including me, because I'm a robot right now. I'm a cartoon. I know, Belinda. That's why I'm a cartoon, because if they're going to give me a cartoon world, I'll give it to him back. Now, I'm building up to this next thing. So let me get rid of this. So the next thing is the next thing is this. Once again, maybe I should put this as the ticker underneath. R.I.P. Robert David Steele. I'm going to put as the banner below Monday, this Monday at 1 p.m. I will go live with Sacha Stone, who has lots to say about this. Okay. Yet nobody is interviewing anybody about it. It's weird. Okay. Live with Sacha Stone on about the death of Robert David Steele. And for anybody who's just tuning in now, you don't know who Robert David Steele is, I can't help you. You have to just scroll back. Because, you know, ex-CIA agent, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you'll have a freaking, you'll have an AI bot tell you all about it. So this Monday, that's Memorial Day, at 1 p.m., that's 1 p.m. Western time, I will be live with Sacha Stone on BRANDNEWTUBE talking about the death of Robert David Steele, because I have a feeling he's going to say things that are not going to be, that won't keep this channel alive. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I'll just keep that up so you guys know. Yes, Labor Day. Love it. Oh gosh, if I put comments, then it's Sacha was on Kirsten W show speaking about RDS. Okay, love it. Okay, let me just put this up again. And I'm going to show you guys now. Now I'm going to show you, this is the buildup. This is where it gets like kind of exciting, like you're watching a TV show and it's like, ooh, it's going to happen next. Okay, so in my depth of reporting as the cartoon, I found, and by the way, this is no disrespect to Robert David Steele. I really do. I was shocked. I do feel bad because I did follow him a lot even before Sacha Stone. And then when they combined forces, I felt a little weird that they were combining forces because I didn't feel that there was how do you say? It's kind of like, I don't think I'd ever put peanut butter on pizza. Like I love pizza and I love peanut butter, but putting them together is, just didn't see it happening. We'll talk about that on Monday when Sacha Stone, who now lives in Mexico, an area of Mexico, I will let him tell you where if he would like to. And yes, it gets very, very interesting because they did go on tour across America. They had a split. And right now I'm going to show you, since I've already shared so far on this live stream, I've shown you Sacha Stone getting interviewed with Robert David Steele about the tour. Then I showed you an interview while they're on the tour. Now I'm going to show you, and this is like some deep reporting here. I'm going to show you Robert David Steele's last video before he died. And you can hear the bronchitis, which is actually, all of this is true. It's not a fake death. He really did die, you guys. Okay. Although I'm just really freaking out that there's not one person reporting about it other than me. So this is Robert David Steele, his last video. And you can hear in his voice. I don't think I'll play the whole thing. I'll put the link below, but I'll play enough of it where you know he's kind of suffering from the bronchitis thing. And this is, I don't know, like a week before he died. All right. Thank you, Rachel, for finding it. You're welcome, Rachel. Nobody else going to acknowledge me. I'll do it. Okay, here we go. Share this and here we go. I just found it like in 20 minutes before I went live tonight. So here we go. So this is September 4, 2021. Obviously, he did not film this September 4 because he died before that. But this is in August. And we'll read the comments later. But this is basically him talking about how the tour kind of has to end because he's feeling sick and he's not feeling well. And this is fascinating. And I actually haven't seen all of it because I literally discovered it right before I went live tonight. So here we go. Just going to play it. Please let me know in the chat room you guys can hear it, okay?
But it's been a grind. My back also went out. I used to get bronchitis once a year, walking pneumonia every 3 or 4 years. But I'll tell you where I went wrong. It was my fault. The tour was so crazy that I did not pay attention to vitamin C and vitamin D. And so I caused this problem. I left vitamin C and vitamin D in storage in one of the bunks, and I just wasn't paying attention to it. So I've learned a lot, but I think I'll be better now. And of course, I'm taking my vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc and so forth. And I've also got HCQ protocol and some other things. So Alex Jones, is he considered a Mossad media asset? He talks straight to me and seems sincere about fighting. I can understand. Oh, sorry, there's a battery. Damn it. Okay, sorry. The battery was not connecting properly. Now it's loading. So, Angie, I'm going to start over. So just eliminate everything up to here. Hello, everyone. These are my weekly questions for the 14th of August. I have proven unable to do the text report. There's just too much going on here. I had no idea how much I was biting off with all of this. But I hope to get back to it. I'll be in Texas taking a breather for a week when this is over, and then I'll regroup, see where we're at. I'm recovering from bronchitis. This is about day 8 of the medication. It's not contagious at this point. It was my fault. I was so preoccupied with everything on the tour, I stopped taking vitamin C and vitamin D. I brought this on. I haven't had bronchitis in 10 years because I've been under proper care and I've been taking vitamin C and vitamin D every day and so forth. So it is what it is. Alex Jones, how is AJ considered a Mossad media asset? He talks straight to me and seems sincere about fighting evil. I can understand Anderson Cooper. Well, Alex Jones is a giant. Have no doubt of my regard for Alex Jones. But like all giants, he appears to have some feet of clay. And as best I can tell, he is subject to Zionist influence, never to be confused with Judaism. And he is also chosen to not confront the Sandy Hill false flag lawsuits as he should have. That's a betrayal of the public trust. I like Alex. I'd like to see him prosper. I think he's a little bit loud sometimes, but there's no question in my mind that he is the icon, and we can never move forward without acknowledging that he was the first. CIA is on fire. They have drained the reservoirs, destroyed the forest, cut funding for fire prevention, 1,000 other things. Who can we turn?
Just wanted to quick. Josh Speed, thank you for being here. Fast Eddie Flathead, thank you for being here. Oh, okay. Belinda, that's cool. I just really, really want to make sure that we respect anybody that's passed on. And so, Josh, this is Robert David Steele, an ex-CIA agent. He did the tour with Sacha Stone until Sacha split with him. They had a parting of ways. I'll be interviewing Sacha on Monday, Labor Day at 1 p.m. on BRANDNEWTUBE, which is, showing up here under the thing. Don't take my channel down here. I'll probably start it on YouTube and then if you want to see it, go to BRANDNEWTUBE. It'll be there live. I think Sacha enjoys doing live streams. And also, by the time I edit it, I might edit the version and then put it on YouTube, but it's something exciting about live because there's no censorship and Sacha, I like him when he's not censored. So the point is, Robert David Steele died about a week ago. There's nothing on YouTube, Josh. Like I told you, I've texted you this. There's nothing on YouTube that you can find that talks about an ex-CIA agent, like a chief of justice on the International Tribunal of Natural Justice for child trafficking. He has done so much in his life. He's written books. He's now, of course, a documentary is coming out. And he's passed away, so it's going to be interesting to see that. But the point is, I didn't see him and his energy mixing with Sacha Stone. Sacha Stone's on a different level, I thought, just energetically. But he did do a Rise America Freedom Tour. You can rewind. It's all in this video that I've done so far. But the point is, on YouTube, there's only an AI-generated bot talking about his death, like, Robert David Steele is died, and there's no real person. After all the millions of people that Robert David Steele has met, there's not one effing person that actually does a YouTube video that says, hey guys, this is kind of crazy. He went to the hospital, he died. Not one person. It's all AI generated, and it's weird. It's weird. I understand if there's like one or two. If you actually go to YouTube and put Rachel Reenstra, TV star, there'll be an AI generated bot. Rachel, her career, and it's like literally reading Wikipedia. Okay. But it's not, there's other people talking about, like, there's just, if I died, don't you think there'd be other videos? And I'm not even close to as famous as this guy. And there'd be other people making videos about it. But when you look him up on YouTube, it's all AI generated. David Steele, it died. And it freaks me out. Number one, I need to know the answer to that. Number two, just found this before I did live. And this is his last. And by the way, he does look like he lost weight. He, from the people I know, he really was. Look, here's the deal. And I'll talk about this with Sacha, and I had about a half an hour conversation off camera. And everybody on both of these tours, okay? Robert David Steele and Scott McKay, Leah Daniels, you know, the human rights attorney, and Sacha Stone, and everybody on the tour literally got so deathly ill on both tours, even when they split up. I don't know if they were targeted. I don't know if they got the COVID. I don't know what it is. I'm just here reporting, okay? Sacha said that even on his tour, they all had to break off and sit in a hotel room and almost die. None of them was going to go to the hospital. Okay. The fact that Robert David Steele went to the hospital was my biggest question when I called Sacha. And I said, why did he go to the hospital when he knew that, you know, with the intubator and all that, it's not going to be good. Well, I'm going to let Sacha respond to that. He told me something that totally blew my mind. And I'm not going to say that now because it's YouTube. Okay. So let's just say, we're going to wait for that. It's going to be one of the best interviews you've ever seen because I almost dropped the phone twice. I was like, oh my God, no way. So why would Alex Jones contradict himself about COVID? You know what? I can't wait till I could actually interview Alex Jones. That's on my list too. But every single person I've had on my list to interview, I've done it. So you know what? It's going to happen. That is strange. Josh Speed said he was mostly focused on, yeah, exactly. However, so has Sacha Stone, but they split on the tour and really like, not like a Sonny and Cher, you know, Sonny's going that way, Cher's going that way. No, not one of those things. All right. Tyson, he's not famous, but I'm, you know, more famous than me. He's an ex-CIA agent, wrote a bunch of books, traveled the world, has, you know, a lot of different connections all over the world. And so no, not famous like Britney Spears. Oh my God, not famous like Kim Kardashian. No, but famous like if you're a woke person and you've actually been watching what's been going on with the PEDO, Philia, and who's been standing up for it. Yeah, kind of fucking epic and famous in that way. But there's a lot more we don't know behind the scenes that Sacha will expose and tell us about. So I feel like that too, Josh. I go back and forward with Alex and all this stuff. And I think that Robert David Steele, when he showed up on Alex, I didn't watch the interview, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, it's just like I got to be careful with what I say here because I keep thinking it's freedom of speech. I keep thinking, oh, we're in America. And apparently it's not land of the free. Okay, so let me just keep playing. So what I'm showing you guys right now is the last legit live stream that Robert David Steele did before he died. And you can hear his bronchitis. He's telling you how the tour had to stop. By the way, this is after Sacha and Leah Daniels and Scott McKay left and they split ways and did their own tour. But everybody got violently ill on both tours, by the way, on both tours. So I don't care what side you're on, who you're with, who is legit, whatever. The fact that every single person, Scott McKay almost died. I think his dad did. Sacha Stone was so deathly ill. And that whole tour was sick. Robert David Steele did die. And he's talking to you right here about a week before he died. And he's like, even till the end, he's in the hospital going, I'm going to be fine. Everything's good. As long as they don't intubate me, you know. All right. So I'm just going to keep playing it. Sorry. I just had to catch you guys up. I'll shut up now.
Turn to a state of corruption. We have sued and showed up in number and nothing changes. We need the military. Well, you need the military or you need local elected sheriffs who deputize all of you as armed members of the posse. Mono Savannah's talked to me about how America needs to have a near-death experience, and I think we're there. And some of you may have seen my pointer to Peggy Kelly. She's written a fine text summary of what's happening between now and November, including fires and drought, and then a longer video on what's happening down the road.
I hate to interrupt. It's my live stream, so I can interrupt. I know I hate it. I know part of the reason any of you know who I am is not because you watched my TV show on ABC about animals. It's because I gave a video to Richie from Boston about the fact that I couldn't breathe. I had this like lung issue. This is, 3.5 years ago now. And in the video, you can listen to, I watched it back the other day because I did upload it on Odyssey. Listening to that video, I can hear myself like gasp for air between breaths. Like I listen to myself going, wow, I sound like I'm gonna die. It was really scary, you guys. And this was like pre-COVID, pre any of this. This was literally living in LA, got so sick and didn't recover. Went to the doctor like 4 different times, finally went to the emergency room. And I recognized the way he's breathing was the way I was breathing. It was a bronchitis thing. They said I had bronchitis and they're like, no. 2 weeks later, they gave me every antibiotic you can imagine. Came back, they did an x-ray of my lungs. This is when I did the video that went viral called Chemtrail Lung. Okay. And it was basically I was in the ER and the doctor's like, you probably have chemtrail lung. And that was so conspiratorial back then, but it's truthfully, there's a lot of chemicals in the air. I lived in LA. I was breathing them in. And whether it was mold from where I lived or it was the chemtrails in the sky, who knows? But I recognize his breathing. So him breathing right now, anyone says it doesn't sound bad. Maybe you just need to know. It's bad. It's bad because I was there. I know exactly what it sounds like. When you're gasping for air like this is how I felt. So I'll keep playing it. I just had to say that.
I believe that local power can stop all of this. I believe that all of you have to start going against local, state, and federal officials in their face. You have to organize 200 to 1,000 to 5,000 people at a time, starting with the school boards and then going on to all of these decisions. We are paying the price for having abdicated our role as informed, engaged citizens. CCP. Can you explain how Israel Khazarians control CCP? I don't think anyone can control the CCP but themselves. Well, first off, remember that China is a Confucian nation, not a communist nation. And remember that governments are controlled by the Rothschilds, the Vatican, Queen of England, British Empire, City of London, so forth. The CCP is simply one more structure, like Opus Dei or Knights of Malta or Freemasons or whatever. I think China has divided, and those who came up in the revolutionary fervor ranks that included Mao Zedong murdering millions of people with bad decisions, they have split from the modernists. The modernists are, I think, taking China in some very positive new directions. China has a lot of things that are going wrong now, and it needs to really address the water issues, the pollution issues, and so forth. And I'd like to think that we're moving to a point where the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, and the Americans, and others such as Brazil, India, Turkey. Turkey's a major Aryan nation with 17 countries speak Turkish as a primary language. People have no idea. Charges against Trump. No, I don't expect charges to be brought against Trump. And me. Is that not a single one of the alternative media channels would cover us. David X22, Sargent Report, Dave Hodges, Dave Janda, Caravan to Midnight, Edge of Wonder. I sent all of them emails about once a month saying, why don't you guys do interviews with us? They wouldn't cover us. So you have to ask yourself, how is it that a tour seeking to do constitutional counties and faith, family, and freedom and local power is seen as a threat? I'll tell you what the answer is. The answer is I'm taking on the Republican Party, not just the Democratic Party. The Anti-Defamation League is loose change at this point. What's really happening here is people, not parties. And we are going to change how America elects and oversees its officials. Election fraud. Who is telling the truth about the election machine hacking?
So you can see, like, as he goes on, and by the way, in the chat room, like, I seriously, we have enough division in the world right now. If you guys start fighting, I'm gonna just fucking stop doing live streams forever. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Respect the different opinions. I think differently than Belinda. I think differently than Josh. I think differently than Harley. I think differently than Zeb. Algorithm and I think differently. We all think differently. And if we can't stick together and respect each other's opinion, and if someone goes, Robert Steele's a fraud, Sacha Stone's a fraud, yeah, you know what? Keep jerking off on your couch at home and having no life, okay? Because I can't deal with that. And anyone says that shit on my live stream, it's like I don't even have like 35 people. It'd be one thing if I had like 1,000 people or 2,000. I could be like, okay, guys, no. But like, we don't even have that many people here and we can't literally get along. Like, it's that bad. It's that bad. Like, I'm just bringing information here that I think is fascinating, interesting, and that we should all be on board with and go, okay, what's happening? Let's be together on this. Yeah, let's have different opinions and let's come together with those different opinions. And okay, you think that way. That's interesting. Not you're dumb, you're wrong, you're stupid, it's over. Like, we got to stop that, guys, because that's what they want. And I won't have that in my world, in my little tiny, flat plane shaped like a penis earth. I'm not going to have that. So I want everybody I've invited in this stream, I want them to be here. So please, guys, just listen. Just listen for a minute. And if you talk to each other, expand each other's minds and don't be like, what's wrong? You're right. I'm wrong. You do that. And I can't, you guys. We don't have time for that. We really don't. We don't. So let's just listen. And trust me, when Sacha comes on live, he'll say enough of that. I promise you. He'll say enough of that. I might even be banned from Brand New Tube. So, let's just understand each other, respect each other. And we all get the fact that we're going to have differing opinions on Alex Jones or David Icke. And I think there's truth to everything. I really do. I think there's truth to everything. And I also think that there's blankets and things of lies and whatnot. And I do feel bad that this man passed away when he literally said, I want ivermectin. I don't want you guys. He was saying, please don't put the intubator on me. And guess what happened? I don't want to give it away, but he did get sedated. And once you're sedated with a very strong thing that maybe Michael Jackson might have had, you put it together, then whoever is in charge of your or his, or just so you guys know, if you do go to the hospital, who's ever in charge of that medical moment, and there's a word for it. We'll talk about that on Monday, because that is something we all need to know right now. Who is in charge? If you go to the hospital because you get in a car accident, you go to the hospital because you get food poisoning, which I had a week and a half ago, and I almost died on my kitchen floor. I was like, I would rather die on my kitchen floor than go to the hospital right now, because I don't trust anyone to not jab me while I'm unconscious or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So just know that there'll be a lot of information on the Monday's broadcast. And there is a form you can even get your friend to sign, or someone that you trust in the community, that can say, I am the person that will decide whether or not. He didn't have that. He did have his wife. And well, we're going to talk about that on Monday. So anyway, I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and then we're going to wrap it up. Here we go.
Mike Lindell or Tom Trenko. Well, I urge you to visit unrig.net, because that's where you can find all of the stuff that we mirror and put together. I think everybody has some stuff there. I think Patrick Byrne is one of the best. You should all watch the movie, The Deep Rig. I think I've done some very good work, and all of us have made it crystal clear. So I'm confident in the future of America. Greatest travel surprise. What has been your greatest surprise while out and about? Absolutely, hands down, my discovering at a sidewalk level the goodness that is in America. Jesus walks in America. And I would even go so far as to say, we don't need to make America great again. America's already great again. It's just unevenly distributed. The cities, as Thomas Jefferson anticipated, have become cesspools. And we have destroyed families and jobs and communities. We've lost our moral compass on the East and West Coast. It's still strong in the heartland. I was particularly impressed by North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wisconsin, Wyoming, a couple of others. This tour showed me America in a new way, and it showed me myself in a new way. And although I chose not to wear the hat right now, I am wearing the hat as I move through the rest of this tour. Now I'm heading toward Belfast, North Carolina, and then down into Florida. So that was the biggest surprise for me. Trent Loos showed us a side of America.
Kind of hard. I haven't watched this yet, so we're all watching this together. Kind of hard for me to watch this because I can hear the lung thing that is real. And there's some questions here. Did they try any other, oh my God, did they try anything else on him? Did he, whatever. Okay, so all those questions will be answered. I only have one more video after this to play for you guys, because this is the last video that we know that he put out there. And the last video I'm going to play for you guys after that is a man named Juan O'Savin and Sean Stone. So Sean Stone, I believe, is related to Oliver Stone. Sean Stone kind of tied into this whole thing. And this dude, Juan O'Savin, never shows his face, talks about, apparently he was very close with Robert David Steele, and does talk about, basically answers all of your questions. So I'm just going to keep playing this. Just wanted you guys to know. Just keep going. Here we go.
That is just extraordinary. And it really causes me to wonder as to how unethical, how unprofessional do you have to be in the social media and the mainstream media to not cover this tour? I'm not upset that we weren't covered.
A quick say this. Moonbird says Robert should have gotten vaccinated. Moonbird, I'm gonna just tell you, and I'm not about dividing. I'm gonna tell you I live in a retirement community. Another story for another time. There are now 5. It used to be 4, and it was 3. Now there are 5 people. I have to say 3 of them were my good friends because I do make friends where I live. All 5 of them are dead. Do you want to know why? Because they took a certain jab. They weren't obese. They had no other pre-existing. That's not true. My neighbor did have pre-existing conditions, so I can't. That's not true. He did. But the other ones didn't. And it was after jab number 2. And they died. I watched them be rolled out and put into an ambulance. One of my best friends, okay, I'll give you his number if you'd like, Moonbird. I'll give you his number so you can actually verify this for yourself. He is an EMT for the helicopters, like they pick people up. He was texting me the other night saying it's the 8th person in a week after jab number 2 that they have had to take to the hospital and that died. So don't tell me, do not tell me that this person right here would be alive if he took that lovely inoculation that has not been tested long term, that is still not approved, by the way, even though they say it is, it's not. No, it's just what you're saying is not true according to my reality, and not from a YouTube video and not from CNN or Fox, from my own experience. So you saying that is actually not true. I can tell you that every one of those people that got intubated, of those 5 people, all died after they were intubated. Okay? Robert David Steele died after he was intubated. He literally told them, do not intubate me. And they did. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. And the hospital made $36,000 after that, after each person. That's awesome, right? That makes sense. Totally makes sense. But I'm sorry, I interrupt. Let's go back.
Because we did what we set out to do. And the videos that Rebecca Cunningham made will stand in history. We did what we set out to do. But shame on everybody that decided not to cover this tour because they thought it was in conflict with their personal self-aggrandizement or their personal self-promotion, their rah-rah political patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel. This is the only tour that offers solutions. This is the only tour that is in perfect alignment with President Trump's views on the future of America. This is the only tour that could actually fix America within 2 to 3 years if its ideas were implemented. Infrastructure. I've been traveling around the US and noticed enormous amounts of road and bridge work going on. Have you noticed the same thing? Yes, I have, and I think that's almost a part of the Nasara thing creeping out. All of the blue-collar workers are being kept busy. I don't think there's a lack of money going forward, and I'm just waiting to see how it plays out. I pray for nonviolence always. Israel. If Israel has so much power in the world now, hard to believe they're worse enemies than CCP, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Well, remember now, I say that the Great Britain is our worst enemy. Israel is kind of a parasite underneath Great Britain. You have to look at it in perspective. Which is the greater threat? Your alleged friend who has totally penetrated your economy, your government, your society, or your alleged enemy who from a distance seeks to gain some minor military or commercial advantage. Think about it for a while. I'd be happy to talk about this more in the future. 107. Do you have any comments on 107 having you start the tour earlier than originally planned? Well, it wrecked my life. I wasn't planning to start until the 4th of July, and then I wanted to finish in mid-September. But it is what it is. I did what Juan asked me to do. I don't think he ever expected me to pull a $1.8 million tour out of my butt, particularly without any help from him. He donated $20,000 for each of 3 movies, and the last 2 were about to come out soon. But he did not donate any money for this tour, and that's a disappointment to me, because I put myself out at enormous risk, enormous physical, political, legal, financial risk. And so far, although I'm satisfied that that the public that we've encountered, it gets it, and I'm satisfied that what we've posted is of value into the future, I'm disappointed that the inner circles that really want America to succeed again are not joining me in saying it's time to take down the 2-party tyranny. Mandatory vax. There will be no mandatory vax. Oh. Mirror of Cliff. When Cliff says that Charlie and Simon are spreading misinformation, I would give that a 20% rating. Just like I tell people, you know, Robert Steele, Ben Fulford, 80% good, 20% off. So just take a look at it. But I certainly hold Cliff high in high regard, as I do Charlie Ward and Simon. And so let's see where it takes us. Moral courage. Admire your weeks of preparation, spearheading the tour, particularly your commitment to our Constitution. You can continue to inspire us. Thank you very much. I embarked on this tour without a second thought and without thinking about the consequences. And one of the things that really troubles me is that a number of people that I trusted betrayed me to the tune of $400,000 all told. And there will be no legal lawsuits. I'm settling up the subcontractors that were cheated by my prime contractor. I was able to brilliantly close this down so that I only owe $90,000, which is an enormous feat. And so we'll see. My integrity is absolute. And let's see where the chips fall in the next 60 days. Oz lockdowns, poor Oz. I wish Trump would speak up. He has spoken up. He has said there will be no further elections until this one is sorted out.
So I am almost done, but I do have to say, it's so weird. I mean, I'm sorry, but, and I'm not looking at the chat room right now, but for me to see someone that, you know, it's kind of like if I, like, God, it's not cursing myself. And it happens, but if I were to die tomorrow and someone downloaded this and this was my last video, it's kind of weird to see someone speak when you know they died like 2 weeks ago. Like literally, he died 2 weeks ago. And, you know, Robert David Steele, whatever he did, and, you know, listening to him back, you can hear him say, oh, that's a horrible freezing moment. Like, it's just, that's bad. Okay, there you go. I can't freeze his face on that. I was just, all I'm saying is, looking back on this, it's so weird. And when you hear him say things like, this won't happen, or this will happen, or, you know, I've heard interviews where he said, well, you know, if you die, you die, and this is what happens, and I'm willing to give my life, like over and over again. You know, you hear different things from someone once they've passed, right? And so it's just a very crazy, interesting experience, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. It's almost done, and then I have one more thing, which is actually a video that will explain more, again, about his death, which was, which involved this Juan O'Savin, which I don't know that much about. I really don't. But apparently Robert was upset that Juan didn't give money. But now I'm listening to this, guys. Like, I'm listening to it the first time with you guys and hearing him coughing, and he doesn't sound good. He's exhausted. Sacha will definitely bring more to light on Monday at 1 on BRANDNEWTUBE about that. But the thing is that, you know, my heart does bleed for anyone. And someone, I think a little bit earlier said, I feel like I'm really alone. Who is it? Someone from Australia. And I just want that person to know that you're not alone. This is it. Richard of Yahweh. I'm getting emotional. Thanks. It's very overwhelming here in Sydney. And I feel I'm not so alone today. Okay, good. Whew. So Richard, Rachel at loveyourwildlife.com. That's my email. You're welcome to email me anytime. I'm friends with Max Egan. I'm planning on doing a conversation with another friend of mine from Sydney who's 25. She lived with me in LA and she's dealing with a lot that's going on. And I invited her to do a interview with Max and myself. And if you'd like to be a part of that, Richard, email me, Rachel at loveyourwildlife.com. Rachel, Rachel, at loveyourwildlife.com. And we'll record that. And hopefully when we share it on BRANDNEWTUBE, it can help other people that are feeling the same way. Because I know people in Canada and Australia, they're feeling so lonely and so scared. And there's so much going on. And I hope that whatever I do, I like to spread humor, but I don't want to make light of the situation, if that makes sense. So let me keep going with this, because this is like the first time I've been more serious in a cartoon way, because I do believe it's getting kind of important. And I also want to promote, without making $1 at all, I'm promoting spending so much time and energy, because it's the karmatic income of wanting people to not feel alone. And I also am curious to hear what Sacha Stone says about this tour and what happened and why everybody got violently ill, and why Robert David Steele, who knows better. Come on, you know better than to go to a freaking hospital when you're an ex-CIA agent who outed like the pedo of all the you don't go to the hospital. You don't. You have them come to you. Whatever you can. You bring the oxygen to my house. I'm not going to a hospital. All right. Anyway, sorry. Just had to quick say that. I'll continue.
I was not reinstated with PayPal. I could take legal action, but the reality is Matt Toddy wrote several books on Griftopia and the Divide. The reality is the legal system in America works for the rich. It does not work for the 99%. And that's one of the reasons why we have to address this going forward. Penny Kelly, thank you for introducing us to Penny Kelly. She states October, November in the new world, most people are only working part-time. Your thoughts, thanks. Well, Elizabeth Warren, before she became Pocahontas and a Democratic poster child, wrote a book called The Two Income Trap. When you look at a family and how it earns its income, if both parents are working full-time, then the true cost of that is that none of the children have a full-time parent. And this is part of the stuff I have in my solutions documents at big.usa.org under the library page. I mean, others have told me they think schools as well as hospitals are going to be going out of business, that there will be a radical reduction in the entire pharmaceutical, agricultural, military, industrial, and so forth complex. What I think we're looking at here is something that has been in the making since John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I don't have the knowledge, and I don't even deserve the knowledge. I'm happy to just be me. And so what I'm doing is the best I can with your support to move forward. So I hope this is good for you, and I will see all of you next week.
Oh my God. I will see you, all of you, next week. I'll see all of you next week. And then you don't. And then you don't. And then you don't see them next week. So, guys, this is the thank you, Richard. And by the way, email me anytime. You're not alone. I never want anyone to feel alone. Didn't sound good at the end. That was his last, from what I know, his last speaking thing. So, guys, I'm going to end it with this because I did want to try to make this live stream way more focused. I know my live streams can get all over the place. And then when I rewatch them, I'm like, ow, part of it. It's annoying. It's so annoying. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Yeah. Love you, Zeb, Taz, all of you guys. Okay, so this is how I'm going to end it. And this is kind of the climax of the show. And that's this. Again, all I wanted was to find something about Robert David Steele, ex-CIA agent that died. Nobody's talking about this, especially since they, mainstream could get like some really good, against COVID. And he thought COVID was a hoax and he died of COVID in the hospital. Why wouldn't they capitalize on that? I mean, these are the questions I'm going to ask Sacha because I'm like, why wouldn't they capitalize on the fact that this guy, like, it's like ignoring the best fruit in the aisle to pick the fruit, mainstream media. This is the best story you ever had. He was a cute, like QAnon, crazy conspiracy guy, thought COVID was a hoax, and then died of COVID. Like, why wouldn't that just be played over and over and over and over and over again so that people wouldn't ever, you know what I mean? Like, he's the prime example for mainstream media of what, but as I showed you earlier in the live stream, I can show you another one. Just go on YouTube and you'll see AI generated Robert David Steele died of COVID-19 in the hospital and what the fuck is going on? Okay. Yes. So Buffalo Gal 107. I don't know. I haven't done enough research. Sorry, I haven't gone there, but I'm about to show you an interview with Juan O'Savin and Sean Stone. It's weird that his last name is the same as Sacha. I just put that together. Ugh. Okay. So Juan O'Savin, who we never see his face. So in my comedy mind, you gotta understand how my mind works. Whenever I see more than one or two videos where I don't see the face, I just call him like Charlie, like Charlie's Angels. He's like, because we never saw Charlie's face. We just saw the speakerphone where Charlie's like, and you saw his hands like, okay, ladies, do it. They didn't obviously have a manicure, but anyway, you only saw Charlie's Angels and you heard his voice. So Juan O'Savin is like, in my mind, like Charlie of Charlie's Angels. Okay. Now, I'm trying to keep this in the flow and not go, not distract. So now this is the last one that I have to play for you. And this is like the crescendo of the whole entire night, which I think is pretty good. Belinda, why did you have to say that? Why did you have to say good morning? Because it is Sunday morning in 4 minutes on the West Coast. You ready?
Out of your quiver, you're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take.
What did we call that, Taz? We call that never not funny. Like never not funny. That is never not funny. This. So, Mr. President, your green screen is showing. Act natural. I'll just be over here. I think that might have a timeline of not being funny, but never not being funny. Like this, and then I'm going to play. I just want a little comedy break because it's been very serious. I want everyone to laugh for a minute, and then we'll get into the interview with Sean Stone and Juan O'Savin, who I call Charlie of Charlie's Angels, talking about the death of Robert David Steele. Okay, we're going to end with that. This has been a really good broadcast, by the way. Patting myself on the back. But these are my final words to YouTube, because my interview with Sacha will be Monday at 1 p.m. live with Sacha Stone on BRANDNEWTUBE about the death of Robert David Steele and the whole tour they went on and a lot of other stuff. But for now, my dedication to YouTube. And I think all of us feel this way in our hearts somewhere, somehow. Take it away.
Oh, really? Oh, Pavel. I think you're... You don't care what I think, hey? Pavel. Pavel. You certainly do. Oh. But Pavel. I sure hope you're not like this tomorrow. I really... Pavel.
Man, if you guys did understand parrot, you'd really understand sheep. So before I play the final moment, can we please enjoy this moment with the sheep? And God bless the sheep. You know what I mean? Bless them. Want them all to take the jab, and I will love them through it. Here we go. I am, by the way, when you see this, I'm the person playing the piano. I'm the penis. Never thought I'd say that.
Go on, darling. I have to play now.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. Trying to find Happy Dog. But until then, understand that when I go live and when I am in general in my life, people can say this about me, which is all right. I'm going to accept it. But this is what they usually say about me.
This occurred to me that I might be a bit much. Like, I think maybe if I met myself, if I met me, I think I might be like, yeah, he was nice, but he's a bit much.
And this is for anyone that's not feeling happy. And Taz, this is for you. This is one of my favorite. I hope that I in my head, I hope this dog is not having an epileptic seizure or something, because I know it's not.
Happy guy. Oh, just a happy guy. Oh, just a look at that. Happy. Oh, the happy dog. Oh, just a happy good my happy guy. Oh, just a happy guy. Oh, just a look at that. Happy. Oh, the happy dog. Oh, just a happy good my
Gonna be dope photo, babe. You're looking hot. Make sure it's a good angle this time, Nathan. Last photo you took, I look like a fat little bin chicken. No, it's epic. The way the light's hitting you, babe. You look like a phoenix or some shit. Oh, watch out for the wave, babe. Oh, shit.
Okay. If that's not funny for you, then you gotta unsubscribe. Like, don't ever show up again. If those videos are not funny, I can't help you. I can't help you. Jennifer, all right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to, where's this? Thank you. Ken, we love Ken. I'm dedicating Ken. We love you. Ken is thinking about taking the V. It's not, when Ken Claudio told me he was going to take the V, okay, because of work, you know what? Can't judge, guys. We got to love. But this is how I felt. This is how I felt when Ken, and I know Ken, you're watching. This is how I felt.
Find it kind of fun. In my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. Find it kind of fun. In my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to, I felt sad. I'm just saying, I know, but listen, Ken, I know we all know you're watching, Ken. We love you. Ken, Claudia, we love you. We know you're watching and we want to support you. I don't want to leave you because you're going to take it. Belinda says no, Ken. So Mandela, Miles says no tomorrows. Harley says, do what you got to do, brother Ken. Still be your brother no matter what. See, this is called unconditional love. Jennifer says big loves. See, his whole family, he's being pressured at work. I beg too. You have no idea how Taz and I, like, it's been traumatic. Her and I have been hard force, pressuring, but then we're pressuring. Why would we do that? Like, we have to let someone have their journey, right? Algorithm says, I support Ken. Hashtag beast mode. That doesn't feel like support. To keep helping people even at his own expense. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm with Jesus. Harley Green. Yes, ma'am. Without absolute. Random Mazda, don't shut on us. That's kind of joking, but let's get to the joking part as soon as we know he's not going to die. We do love you, Ken. We know you're watching. Ken, you're a big part of us. You know that. You get the jab. We're going to get it partially-ish, but we're going to just break it. We're going to be like, that means nothing. I'll cut the person that jabs you, just so you know. I'll cut them in half. I'll drive to where you are, and I will, cut them. I know I sent him the religious exemption. I sent him everything. Everything I could. I don't think it's done yet. I'm not sure. Just he's watching. Ken, we love you. So we know you're watching. You feel like you can't comment because now you're part of that, the B system. Look, it sounded like I said the B system, which is like bees. Anyway, point is, everyone I know had the idea that I know. We get it. Mickey D says, sorry you're going through this. Hang in there. Yep. We do still love you, Ken. We still love you. You know what I mean? We're still there for you. I'll still cut the person that jabs you. Is that weird? Like, cut and jab? Cut, jab. Like, anyway, we do love you. Yes. No. Yes, Michael. Yes. Michael, roll the boat ashore. Jabalooya. Yeah, he's going to have to. Why? Because he is working for a company that is in the healthcare industry. And he did try to get medical exemption and they turned him down. So he's literally going through, I'm going to die, meaning no income, blah, 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 or I'm going to get the jab. So he's going to get, I hope I didn't out him by saying that, but he did say he's going to get it. And I still say, but I'm going to commit to it because I know a few people that did, and then they went against it. They won. They won in the court of law. Just saying. So, okay. So it makes me so, Jennifer says, it makes me so angry. Any one of us would be under this pressure no matter what. I love Ken and I'd give him a big hug. See? So I'll send the link to Ken because I don't think he's on here because he feels very, I'm guessing. I think I might be right though. But I'm guessing that he feels very upset that he has to take it. And yeah. He's a loving entity. He's a beautiful, you guys know you love Ken. We all love Ken. And Ken messaged me and said, I gotta do it. And so we had a back and forth, anyway, it's not what the stream is about. Just saying. Taz says, get a different job. No job is with your life. Chris says, goodbye, Ken. You may die a good and honorable death as one of the martyred. Okay. I will fight it for sure. May God be with Ken. Okay. And we are with Ken because we're part of God. So we're going to support him and love him through it, no matter what. And yeah, Ken feels like he disappointed the community. So let's support him and be like, you know what? We all have to do things that disappoint people. To call my parents. Call my parents now. Find out if they feel disappointed. They don't ish. But I think I'm just going to, this is to Ken, because I know you're watching, Ken, even though you're not on this stream. We all know you're watching. So if you get the jab, will you be my friend?
Oh, I see you have a Keurig. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a hairstyle. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have compost. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a nickname. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a girlfriend. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a schedule. Can I be your friend? I see you've had a rough day. Can I be your friend?
Here's the point. Look, if he takes it, we'd be like, cool. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. Something like that. I love you, Ken. And if you take it or you don't, I think the large majority of humanity wants to separate the jabbed and the not jabbed. And I love you. You will still be accepted. But I just want, like, until you take it, until like the moment and you know what, if you're going to do it, like if you really do subscribe to doing it, record that shit. So we can you're going to be, can you be my guinea pig? If you're my guinea pig, I'll be your friend. No, I'm kidding. Ish. But trying to make light of it because I know it's traumatic for you. And I just don't. I really want to give you every single thing. Medical exemption, religious exemption, all of those exist. And I might, unless you already took it. But if you didn't, I want to talk to you on the phone and then we can have a conversation. And then after that, It's not a cult. Like if you don't take, oh, you're out of here if you took it. No. We'll love you through it. We'll love you through it. Love you through it. Look at all this. Look at all this love. Look at all this love. Sending support to you, Ken. Oh, no, that wasn't funny. They killed Kenny, but that was a South Park joke. Not about you. Not about you. Not about you. Look, I understand Ken, where he is. Okay. So I know you're watching this, Ken. We all love you. I love you no matter what. No matter what. That's called unconditional love. All right. Now, again, you guys led me to distraction. I blame all of you for leading me to distraction. Although I love you, Ken, please understand that we are the 99%.
We are the 99%. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails, and there ain't no cornfields. Blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. You can stick your coronavirus up your arm. You can stick your coronavirus up your arm. You can stick your coronavirus. You don't get proven liars. Stick your coronavirus up your arm. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90%. Together are 90. We are the 99%. You can stick your poison vaccines up your arm. You can stick your poison vaccines up your arm. You can stick your poison vaccines. Stick your poison vaccines. Stick your poison vaccines up your arm. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. I'd rather be a human than a slave. I'd rather be a human than a slave. I'd rather be a human. Don't you know that you can rather be a human than a slave? We are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. Order up your arms. You can stick your new world order up your arms. You can stick your new world order. Stick your new world order. Stick your new world order up your arms.
If that doesn't make you the happiest person in the world, I think I need that on a loop on my TV. And sometimes it's in my head when I'm driving. We are the 99%. We are the 99%. Anyway, so Ken, Taz, we just send him the link because you know he's watching it. We love you, Ken. We love you, Ken. Love you, Ken. 1 p.m. Monday Pacific time. There's the link right there. And I'm going to show you as the exit out of this. Sean Stone interviewing Juan, what's his name? Juan Pablo? 107. 107, Charlie's Angels. Never shows his face. Talking about the death of Robert David Steele. Okay. This is a great, I want to watch my live stream back and that's how good it is. All right. So I'm going to thank you, Taz, for doing that. And here we go. Because guys, wait, listen to this. Listen to this because this is going to give you a lot of information. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We are the 99%. Like no one in America would do that. Like what? The British people are great with the singing. We suck. America sucks. We're not going to go. We all no one's going to do that. Kim Kardashian, Britney Spears. We suck. All right. Anyway, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it. This is Charlie's Angels. Juan O'Sullivan, whatever. Listen. The only thing I could find that was not computer generated, that was an actual replay and talking about the death of Robert David Steele. All right. If you guys are really interested, this is it. This is it. Here we go. I'm gonna play and go.
Recording in progress. Okay, great. So while I have you, I think the news of the hour is Robert David Steele, who we both knew, and let's just talk about what you can share beyond what's circulating, which is Robert's final message to the public, which was where he was, I'm going to quote, he said his oxygen levels went from 77 to 94, and he said he was going to survive. He felt very positive in that message. And so a lot of people were shocked that he's passed away. So let's just start with what you know about what happened.
Yeah. All right. You ready there? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention if you were ready.
I'm ready. I mean,
okay, all right. I wasn't sure if you were just
fill us in on what you know, because I remember hearing he had bronchitis when he went to the hospital. So, yeah, please fill us in on what you understand of the situation.
Well, I mean, I had folks that were there in Florida trying to get to the bottom of the situation. Robert had communicated with me and let me know that his situation was turning for the worse. And what I'm very concerned about is that he had someone present who had, was speaking on his behalf, actually did a recorded statement authorizing a particular person to handle any medical issues if he was unable to handle them himself. And part of the problem was when he was admitted to the hospital, which, is disconcerting. I know a lot of people would wonder why he went ahead and had himself admitted. He had kind of a bronchitis thing that he'd had for some time. And I think, quite a few years. And he felt that with his oxygen level so low, that was something that required some kind of hospitalization, because he had what happens with this type of influenza. Let's be straight. We've got multiple places where people have, tried to get Centers for Disease Control and similar to show where they've isolated a COVID virus. The reality is that COVID-19 is somebody's myth. It's a type of influenza, but it's a very severe type, and it usually, when it gets too advanced, becomes a double pneumonia. And a double pneumonia, I mean, you're trying to breathe with both lungs full of fluid. It's very, very bad. And I've had several people from my 107 Daily that got this infection, and it was quite serious. Now, there's things that can be done to reduce the fluid in the lungs, and you may very well reach a point where you have to have some kind of a antibiotic. And so, for example, in the case of one of the people very close to me, that was required. And they were touch and go getting whether they were going to have to go get admitted into a hospital. There's some alternative treatments. One of my friends up in Denver is able to treat with stem cells in hospitalized situations and hasn't lost anybody yet, even in very severe cases. But this is nothing to screw around with. People that have gotten where it's reached the double pneumonia, which is infection in both lungs state, we have numerous people, very large numbers of people that have died. The problem with getting intubated, which is a tube down the throat to help you with the breathing, is that
does stuff with the lungs, overpressurizes them. And although it is the approved method, the survival rate, if once you're intubated, is very low. I've heard figures as low as 1 in 32 survive once they're intubated.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a death sentence. You wonder, you know, which is worse. Somebody suffering in this way would be very, you know, inclined to do it because it's like a last desperate measure. But
that's the question is with Robert, it said he got his oxygen level up to 94. So do you know what happened thereafter?
Well, you know, that again, this is common with this particular type of influenza. You'll recover to a certain point, and then suddenly, because it's a bacterial infection in the lungs, it can get, you know, you'll have good days and have bad days. And so, for example, one of my people, he had almost a week where he was getting better by the day. He was off his antibiotics, had done, I think, a 10-day run with the antibiotics. And then it came back with a vengeance and had to do another round and got it started right away. But he said the second round was worse than the first. And so it is a bacterial infection, and it doesn't take much to get it going. It could be any number of reasons why it would retake root. But the thing that's important with Robert's situation was he had specifically given instructions. He understood these risks, and he'd specifically given instructions not to intubate. It's a DNI, do not intubate. And not to be confused with a do not resuscitate. That's not at all what it was. Do not intubate. But when they were talking about intubation, as I understand it, you know, I wasn't there. I had people who were present and knew what the conversations were. He had been a borderline combatant about, you know, how he was being treated, because when he went to the hospital, they actually brought his own medications that he'd been using, the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, as I understand it, and had wanted those used while getting the oxygen that he felt he needed, that's, you know, he had to be in a hospital environment to get, and to monitor his oxygen levels actively and things like that. When they were saying that, you know, he needed to be intubated, he became, you know, borderline combatant. I think the record shows that he was combatant. So, you know, what's the difference between borderline combatant and combatant, you know? And within those protocols that are there from the CDC, if you have the infection and you're unruly, if you will, they call for some mild sedation. So he was sedated mildly, and I'm giving this to you secondhand. I could be wrong. Somebody present wants to challenge it. Okay, you show me what the record says. I'm giving it from people that I know that were there present that got what happened there. So he was determined to be, you know, combatant. They gave him a mild sedative, as I understood it, fentanyl, and a medical, you know, admission, probably intravenously or something, and that knocked him out. And then a decision was made with a family member to go ahead and intubate him. And the question is whether or not his verbal recordings and authorizations would override what was said, you know, here with the insurance like that. So he was intubated, and other people kind of stepped in to try and, you know, create an environment where he could be moved to another location, treated the way he had initially wanted to be treated, you know, remove the intubation, things like that. And it just didn't happen. I'd be the last one to throw any stones, you know, when you're not there and you're not part of the family and you're trying to make these types of decisions. It may look wrong to an outsider, but saying that somebody, you know, had it in for somebody or whatever, I would say that that's just very shallow. And you know, under the circumstances, I would be very slow to make those kinds of statements or accusations with anybody.
Yeah.
You know, through a glass darkly.
Well,
look, I mean, woulda, shoulda, coulda.
We know how combative Robert was and stubborn he was, and I've heard also from one of the sources that was communicating with him that was saying, you know, let's get you out of the hospital, knowing what happens right in hospitals as far as the intubation, and Robert was very stubborn and not wanting to leave. So, in a sense, you know, he understood the dangers of being there, and then, you know, whether or not he was drugged, I would not be surprised because he was a combative person. We both know that. He was a very truculent,
you know,
truculent guy.
Let's say this, Sean. Robert, you know, you have a big guy who, even when he's actually being in general conversation, some people would interpret what he's saying, how he says it, just by his voice or demeanor, as somehow being, you know, super combatant, when that's not the case. He was assertive. You know, in the right situation, I could come across like that, and I don't know that I would, you know, it'd be accurate to say I'm combatant. I'm just being direct and, you know, assertive. And so he was being assertive. He had a right to, you know, try to be treated in a way that he understood was probably the best for him. Yeah. And being a bit assertive, you know, I think I'd be assertive, you know, especially when I knew what was at stake. But all of that said, is there, you know, we weren't there with the nurse or whatever, nurses, doctors. You know, I think just his basic demeanor may have, you know, come across in a way that they were taken back by or something, but wasn't, you know, combative, you know, is not the same as being assertive about what you want done.
I think I was just trying to communicate that Robert was a tough SOB, and but his heart was in the right place. And
he is a Marine.
And exactly, he was a Marine. And what I was going to say is what people, you know, before jumping to conspiracies about getting him sick or whatnot, we understand the context of what he was coming from, a tour that was extremely stressful on him, and he was raising money, left, you know, and working on various things at the same time. And I can have no doubt that he was stressed, very stressed. I know he, you know, from my communications with him, he was stressed. And that oftentimes puts us in states of disease, right? And a man who's, I would say, you know, relatively, you know, heavy. I don't know how, you know, how overweight, but that is the category of people that have been hardest hit, as we've known, by the COVID, right? So, you know, we can't necessarily say that, but we can say that he's sort of a classic example of the dangers of how this thing goes from going to the hospital with bronchitis to being intubated and killed, right?
Right. And you know, one of the things, let me just mention this too. Somebody hacked his site and put up a video that he'd been, you know, killed, executed, you know, that Trump was in on it, and this was done by the military and everything else. Such fucking bullshit. You know, that just drives me out of my tree. That, you know, there's a place for people that think that that's okay to do that, totally made out of whole cloth. And, you know, Robert, he came to understand what was going on around the world and here in the country. He worked with the International Court on crimes against children, did the publications concerning the pedophilia and child trafficking, you know, that are there, you can buy on Amazon. he did a lot of really important work because he came of age in so many ways in the last several years. And even during the tour, he talked publicly about the fact, he and I had a number of pretty personal, private conversations about God, about eternity, the salvation message, looking for our Messiah. And you and I have different views on some stuff. So I'm coming at it from, as a Christian and needing salvation, Christ as Savior. And that's what Robert had, we had some beautiful, important conversations during the tour. He actually accepted Christ as Savior. And it was such a complete and deep conversion for him. He stopped swearing and cussing. He completely changed his perspective, and this was a huge thing he talked about publicly, that even as a Marine, it affected him to the core, because in part it was, I think, not just the message, the conversations such as he and I had, which he, was, we had some very deep conversations within this zone, personal, and talking about America and the world and our place in the world from a divine perspective. But during the course of that tour, he, seeing America at its roots, the tour stopped at a lot of places that most of the time nobody ever stops, the cities that you can't hardly find on a map, and a few folks locally showing up. It did something with flyover America, places that have a much more somehow deeper part in the country. And in the course of that, along the way, he found God in a new way, and made a prayer salvation, which for me, as upsetting as it is, where we talk about, here he's passed, it was, for me, very unexpected, even at the point where he was admitted to the hospital, because he was, I felt, in still reasonably pretty good health. It was quite shocking. That knowledge that he had come to terms with his maker, had reached some point of reconciliation with God, that gives me peace that there was some knowing this was about to happen, even if it wasn't overt. The timing is incredible, and that was only just a few weeks ago. Yeah. And then you look at the health stuff. Yes, he was overweight. I wouldn't call it, excessively, monstrously overweight, but he certainly was more than he needed to be. And we had actually talked about that a couple of times also. We both enjoy a good scotch, and, we talked about that, diet. We enjoyed a steak and a scotch. But I tend to moderate a little bit more maybe than he does. And he was talking about trying to, lose some weight and like that. But, that's one of the things too, when you're on tour like this, you tend to eat a little more fast food. You tend, even if you're getting stuff with people out, there's more starch out there.
Yeah.
And
food in you when you're traveling.
It really, really, really is. Especially, you're eating out every single night. I know, being on the road continuously, really for the last couple of years, that you really have to think hard about, what the diet is day to day, and you know, you have to regulate your toast. So, I mean, really, it may sound great when you're eating out all the time and you're eating nice places, but the foods are rich, they're starchy, you know, lots of sugars.
Canola oil, sugars, you know, everything that when you're in your kitchen, you can control what goes in it. When you eat out, GMO foods, you name it, right?
Yeah.
So many things that you just aren't even aware of. So
yeah, and you know, really, he knew, by the way, he talked about the fact, we had talked even when we were, you know, he had asked me about doing this tour and gave me credit for, you know, having them do the tour. It's not quite accurate. The reality is he wanted to do something, and I, you know, he wanted to do some kind of a bus tour. And I says, well, I mean, if you're going to do it the way he proposed it and what I thought was the way you would do it were slightly different. He was using the buses more as a motorhome to stay in, and I had suggested more that it be buses like a campaign tour and stopping at hotels along the way where you have more time in each location with the people, so you're not racing across the country, but you're hitting hubs and going a bit slower. And so we had a different vision in that sense, and I think it would have been more effective perhaps, but that's shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, he did something that's unique, and you know, with the you know, constitutional sheriffs and things like that, it's in the record books. And lots of people talk about doing something. He didn't talk about it, he did it. And so you cannot take that away from him. And those people that benefited from seeing the tour and saw the great graphics he had on the buses and everything else, he pulled something together that is in the history books forever. When this time is recalled out in the future, and lots of people, you know, talked about they should have or wanted to do or could have.
Yeah,
he's in the books. He's a doer. He did it.
Well,
made a difference.
Let's talk about that legacy, because you know, one thing is it's really great to hear that he did find that peace with God and that inner knowing. That's really what so much of this journey is about. So I'm really thankful and grateful that he found that, and part of that, you know, and then his legacy is going to include this docuseries that he was so excited about. He was pushing, you know, he really was excited about getting this thing out. There's the best kept secret. There's also a Wall Street documentary that will be coming out as well. But let's talk today about Best Kept Secret, which we released a trailer for right the day before he passed away. So in spirit, I believe he saw it. I'm pretty sure he saw the trailer, and I know that he'd be very proud of this docuseries because this is what he wanted to expose. He's been giving so much of his life, right, to exposing the satanic pedophilia amongst the rulers of this world. And this docuseries, I think, step by step will help to elucidate for people that are, you know, this is beyond, people have to get past this idea. It's about a virus. It's about, you know, health. We got to get past that psychology and look at who are the people that are trying to order your life. You know, are these people good people? Do they really want your best interest? Let's look at this, the psychology of the ruling elite, right? That's what this documentary is about.
Well, let me just say this, Sean. The reason that I even put money behind this, behind the scenes with you, was because Robert asked me to. And he explained what the vision was, what he wanted to do, what he was hoping to do, how he had reached out with you. I think it was a mutual thing. You had ideas, he had ideas. And he came to me and said, you know, would you back this? And I said yes, really immediately, because this is something that's, you know, very close to me, obviously, also. And he was the, you know, the ringmaster in that sense. Without him raising it and pressing hard, I wouldn't have known necessarily, you know, what exactly the vision was. Of course, you and I had contact otherwise previously, but I didn't really know that much about this project. So I got to give him credit there. Again, he was very good at, you know, kind of articulating a need, going out and finding the right people, bringing them into it, and got to give them a lot of credit for that. So if in the future, as people get to see this series that you've done, if they want to be thankful for anybody, it's the vision that Robert had in seeing it getting done, and going out and providing some of the material and rallying behind you to get it done. So, you know, I would in many ways credit Robert with what was completed here, and then the stuff, you know, the trailer is just, you know, right on the cash. I think he did just a phenomenal job. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole series, and of course putting it over there at 107 daily. And I'm anxious for people to see this, especially at this point in history, because the things that are happening right now and going to happen over the next many months are going to interleave and mesh with this docuseries very closely. Issues that were raised initially back in the WikiLeaks releases, and then during the releases that happened without mentioning a certain letter of the alphabet, and then the follow-on to that, which is actually plausible deniability, but an extension of that project with the McAfee releases. All of those three operations dovetail precisely with what you've done in this docuseries, and I'm anxious for that to be seen by people and shared, because even within our audience, most of our audiences are fairly aware of these issues. We've talked about them. They're in that zone. The problem is having a tool to share with friends and relatives who are going to hear about things in these next weeks and months and not be able to fully grasp or put them in some historical context. They won't necessarily feel real to them. It'll be just too bizarre. I think this docuseries will help them to have a historical perspective right up through the current, to see how our society, our world, is in large measure being run by a cabal or cabals that are absolutely not the kind of people that most of the people in our country, most of the people in flyover country would ever agree to back or be part of.
That's right. In fact, it's just funny. I saw a little Instagram thing. Well, a couple of things came up today. One, there was a poll I saw that 58% of Americans see mainstream media as a threat to the people, which is an amazing statistic and absolutely accurate, because we know what the media does to manipulate the narrative and to lie. As I put it, anyone who comes up on television and tells you this is the truth, that person's a liar. Any good journalist worth their salt knows they don't know the truth. They ask questions, and that's their job, not to tell you the truth, but to ask questions and to look at it from different angles. That's honest journalism. So that's a good poll. And then on social media, I saw this fun thing that someone asked a question on this social media channel. You know, is the world run by satanic pedophiles? And the majority said yes. So I said, you know, people are waking up thanks to social media. The nature of the reality, as you talk about, is, you know, and having to red pill people is why I did this series in a 6-part manner. And each chapter is meant to build, right? So the first chapter is called The Beast, because we go back to the Paul to the Ephesians, right? And the spiritual war. But we don't get stuck there. We get into the Franklin scandal, which is something that's very well established, as you know, in terms of people in politics and business molesting children and en masse. And so we use that as a launching board. We get into MK Ultra in the second chapter, right? And mind control programming and the government's game. Not just government, obviously. It goes deeper. It goes to Nazis and other things. But we get into that. In the third chapter, we then get into Epstein and the Jean-Benet Ramsey story and the nature of compromising politicians and people of power and influence, right? In the fourth chapter, we get into the New World Order and the transhumanist agenda and media, music, and how things like this are used to sell narratives. The fifth chapter, we get into blood rituals and the nature of, let's say, relating to demons. What Satanism is really about is something that is otherworldly from our physical senses. But you start to look at cases like, well, let's just say the stories that come out do indicate satanic beliefs, right? it's getting to that point. It's just like, you know, California is going into tyranny, New York's going into tyranny, this country is coming apart. Who knows? It does feel like something that has to play out, as I think we talked about in the early days, and the idea of the New World Order has to show all its hand, right? It's like, okay, let's see what the New World Order is. You don't believe in it, it's going to be in your face, you know, and it's kind of got to play all their cards. And you talked about it before, this idea of competing quantum computers and an overall dynamic of, you know, this is end times, right? This is dark and light. This is metaphysical, beyond our physical dimension of what's playing out here. So it's got to get thick.
Well, I mean, it's really what you did in this whole series. You're helping people to have a context to understand what's in the nightly news, seeing behind the screen of, you know, who these people are, from Epstein and other groups of a similar nature that may not have been exposed yet, but are about to be. And and we're going to have that fight. That's what this is really all about. It's that a decision has been made. People have been positioning, preparing to have this fight for a very long time. And now we're just about there. And you might not want it, but at the end of the day, it has to happen at some point in time. And better on Patriots' terms than the monsters behind the scenes who've been preparing for a wipeout for the rest of us. Because I think that's partially what you're seeing and have talked about also, Sean, is that these people have a plan, but their plan doesn't include the average American. Their plan is for them, and they see us as food. They see us as the herd to be managed and to do whatever they, you know, want to do with us. And, you know, this is about saying no and hell no. We're not going to have that happen. God's children aren't for sale.
Yes, in fact, the essence of the docuseries and what inspired it initially was this idea that we have to come to a realization that humans are energy. Everything in this world is frequency, right? Everything is energy, it's frequency, it's different frequencies, obviously. It's not just one. But the point is that as energy beings, we are either in charge and working with and controlling our energy and moving our energy and working with our energy, or we are allowing ourselves to be fed upon, right? This matrix concept, it's an ancient concept. The archons is an ancient concept of energy feeding and manipulation of our energy. So what we do with our energy is so critical in this time period. And if we can start to recognize, wow, we are sovereign over our energy, which is our body, mind, and our spirit, now we have something. If we surrender our body and our mind, what's left of our spirit? How can we have spirit if our body and our minds are manipulated and controlled? And that's
and it is everything here is a spiritual battle. I mean, you know, you can come from different positions within your relationship with God and see things differently, you know, and have those conversations. But there's some certain point, I think that's part of the whole thing with Robert David. He had a certain understanding that there was some huge, greater conflict going on that we could not sit idly by, go along with the status quo. We were losing ground and we had to fight harder. And even there, I think this goes to a lot of the listeners out in the audience. Robert David was spiritual. He was sensitive that there was some for them, and they see us as food. They see us as the herd to be managed and to do whatever they want to do with us. And this is about saying no and hell no. We're not going to have that happen. God's children aren't for sale.
Yes, in fact, the essence of the docuseries and what inspired it initially was this idea that we have to come to a realization that humans are energy. Everything in this world is frequency, right? Everything is energy, it's frequency, it's different frequencies, obviously. It's not just one. But the point is that as energy beings, we are either in charge and working with and controlling our energy and moving our energy and working with our energy, or we are allowing ourselves to be fed upon, right? This matrix concept. It's an ancient concept. The archons is an ancient concept of energy feeding and manipulation of our energy. So what we do with our energy is so critical in this time period. And if we can start to recognize, wow, we are sovereign over our energy, which is our body, mind, and our spirit, now we have something. If we surrender our body and our mind, what's left of our spirit? How can we have spirit if our body and our minds are manipulated and controlled? And that's
and it is. Everything here is a spiritual battle. I mean, you can come from different positions within your relationship with God and see things differently, and have those conversations. But there's some certain point, I think that's part of the whole thing with Robert David. He had a certain understanding that there was some huge, greater conflict going on that we could not sit idly by, go along with the status quo. We were losing ground and we had to fight harder. And even there, I think this goes to a lot of the listeners out in the audience. Robert David was spiritual. He was sensitive that there was some, that evil existed and that evil had to be countered and engaged. And he realized he had a calling to do that. It was a very American mentality. But on the way to encountering and countering this evil, and he saw it just that, a dark, horrendous evil with the pedophilia, the human trafficking, the oligarchs seeking to destroy most of mankind so they could create some, paradise, kind of like what Nero did. Nero wanted to burn down Rome so he could reinvent it. So he burned down, half of Rome so he could reinvent it in his own image. He didn't want all the previous monuments and people. He wanted people that saw things his way, and he wanted monuments to himself. And so he had to destroy it to plow the ground, if you will, to plant it a different way. That's that same evil spirit, satanic spirit that exists today that wants to burn the whole world down, destroy 13 out of 14 people. That's what the Georgia Guidestone says. They only want 500,000 people, or 500 million people, 500 million people. So that means you have to kill 13 out of 14 people on the planet right now, so you can rebuild it in your own image. And, in 100 years, once we're all gone and it's only their core little group of people, they can rebuild it in their image, their way, their institutions, in this junkyard of society, as far as they're concerned. They just plow it all under and start over. That spirit has been present since, the garden. We're the ones they see as being in the way. We're the ones that they see as an infection on the planet that they have to eradicate so they can, have their will, their way with the world. We're in the way of that. And Robert David saw that. But then the discussions that I had with him to engage this evil entity, this satanic spirit the devil himself. Mere human strength is not adequate to the task. Mere human knowledge is not adequate to the task. You have a mind, a mindset, a mentality that has existed for eons. And in the space of just a few dozen years of adulthood, you cannot, in a coherent, organized way, come against that effectively. So you have to have divine assistance. You have to have divine interaction. We battle not against principalities and powers just in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm. And those powers, those people, those principalities have positioned themselves in high places, in government, in business, in society. And so in order to engage and to dislodge them, to free ourselves from their grip, we need divine direction, divine assistance. We need the mind of God. And that's what Robert David came to understand. That's what made him even more dangerous, because in those last weeks that he was alive, he was now switching to a different stance. The devil himself, where did the COVID or the disease or the influenza come from, or how was it treated, etc. At the end of the day, the devil himself saw him as a threat. And the rest of us with him, because he was rallying people to help to understand and come together to oppose this evil being done in our land, in our name, and out across the world. And that's where we pick up and continue on. I tip my hat to him for all of his efforts, for his understanding. And now others have to step into place. When in battle, if a person is down and that position goes vacant, we close ranks. We move closer together to fill that gap. And so this is a moment where warriors close ranks. I know it's not for everyone. For example, the president has never had a drink of alcohol in his life. I'm a teetotaler for the most part, but I have a scotch or a bourbon from time to time. And Robert David and I enjoyed a steak and a scotch, and reviewing a lot of things together. The other night last night I stopped and tipped a glass to him and his memory, and took some personal time to just thank God for having the opportunity to know him and join forces with him on some stuff. And I'll look forward to meeting him on the other side, and embracing and thanking God for the opportunity to work together. God knows each of our days and how they're numbered. None of us know when we get called by whatever means. And I know that he, even weeks ago, was aware that what he was doing was very dangerous, because interacting with the public like he was, anything could happen. It could be getting sick. It could be a loose, nut behind the wheel. We've lost a number of people to, mental cases that, we would call them MK Ultra people, etc., that go off the ropes and pick out a prominent person in public because, they feel like they can take out one person and somehow make a difference. For the devil himself works on both sides. So Robert David was very aware that what he was doing put himself in harm's way, and he did it anyway. My hat's off to him. It's in the record books. God himself knows what he did.
Yes, Godspeed to him, or into his soul as he moves on. I would say, again, you're right. It was his time, I believe. I think he was at peace, and in a sense of knowing, having the inner peace before this occurred. So we got to carry on the fight. That's why his legacy lives on with the docuseries and Wall Street, the Masters of Illusion documentary as well, which will expose a lot of the guile and deceit in the Wall Street crowd and banks and all that. So that's another one coming out very soon. Well, it's a good place to leave it. We should we will air the first chapter of Best Kept Secret on Friday night. That's Friday of Labor Day weekend on 107 Daily. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I am too, and I tell you, my techs have been working feverishly to get ready for that premiere, and you and I have talked about that as they've gone through and tried to make sure they cross the T's and dot the I's. I think it's very appropriate as the first presentation of many over 107 Daily to have this premiered there. I appreciate tremendously that I got the chance to work with you on it, and I know that people will benefit, and I think it's the right tone to start everything else that we're going to be doing there as we roll out of the beta phase into a full release. And so I hope people go there and enjoy it, and all the other things that are coming there that will be, I think, make it one of the top platforms in the world. So.
Well, there you go. There you go. Right. They lied. The timeline's been altered. Oh my God, you guys are going so off book. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. And I love it. Love it. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Love it. So here's the deal. Yes, it was a great show, Rachel Reenstra. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys paid attention. Paid attention. So biggest thing that I've got to tell you now is, again, I asked you from the beginning, why did Robert David Steele, ex-CIA agents, on Alex Jones, basically kind of brought down Alex Jones in the way where he was talking about stuff that even Alex Jones was like, what? My question still remains, and nobody in the chat room, none of my subscribers has yet to answer why, when an ex-CIA agent dies, there's only computerized Robert Steele died of bleep, 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 bleep. Okay. Not one. I challenge you guys, go on YouTube, try to find one video where a human being, even a cartoon formation like me, talks about the death of Robert David Steele. Why? There's 400 videos about Robert. I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to look up one more because none of you are answering it, which kind of freaks me out because I feel like you don't listen. I'm going to look up Robert David Steele death on YouTube. I'll play yet one more video, which is still not human, but you still aren't getting it. None of you are still actually getting it. When I play it, it's literally not one human being is talking about it. Not one. So I don't know. I'm just scroll. I'm going to scroll. And I'll just pick this one. Hold on. Just because, Oh, sorry. I lied. There is AI robots talking about Robert David Steele's death, and then some dude from Afghanistan or India talking about it, who, by the way, knows nothing about it, but he's reading a script, which is even weirder than an AI robot talking about it. Okay, so I'm just going to show it. I'm going to show it to you. Nobody's listening to me. No one hears what I'm saying. I know. I'm used to it. So here we go. Let me play it. 135 views. Comments are turned off. And guess who's so traumatized by Robert David Steele's death. Jahan Zaib TV, okay, who barely can read a teleprompter. But let's just hear what he's got to say.
Hello friends, welcome to our channel Zip TV. Robert David Steele death. Robert David Steele passed away. We are forlorn. A report that Robert David Steele passed means CIA case official and U.S. Prime Ali of the U.S. Marine Corps information activity has passed on. His passing was accounted for through online media on August 29th. Steele got rolling as a Marine Corps infantry and information official following 4 years of preparing for organization.
Stop it with his friends were too scared. No, really? Oh, his friends are too scared to make a video. His friend, they know his friends by now. He died. They know his friends. They were on stage with him. They traveled with him. Hashtag Sacha Stone. They know whose friends were too scared to make a video. So basically. That's such bullshit answer, but I appreciate you actually attempting to make an answer because everyone else is like, anyway, how are you doing? How's your life over there in the West Coast? And you all right? Fine, talk to each other, but I want an answer for this.
Prior to a sitting with building up the Marine Corps intelligence activity where he was delegate boss for the most part apparent as the top of the open source intelligence OSINT perspective. Steele continued to form the handbook on OSINT for NATO, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, and the U.S. Exceptional Operation Forces. In passing, he eventually pre-arranged 7,500 authorities from an excess of 66 countries, as shown by his profile by The Guardian News.
Oh my God. All right, let me read the chat room. What your theories are. Those of you who are even listening to me anymore. They're running out of real people. They're running out of real people. I like that theory, Dean. They're willing to read this one. No, there are human beings that knew him, including Sacha Stone. Guess what? In America, I have video footage. I actually not video footage. I was there. Hundreds and hundreds of people were showing up to hear him speak. Don't tell me one of them's not going, let me make a video about that he died. And all they got to do is go, hey guys, I'm live right now. Robert David Steele died. And I went to him hearing, like I heard him speak in the middle of the road in, Huachuca, Texas, blah, blah, blah. None of those. None. It's not like I don't know Robert David Steele. I don't know him, but I know Sacha, who knows him. And trust me, all of this will be covered on Monday live at 1 p.m. But it's kind of pissing me off that you guys are like, oh, maybe it's just an illusion, Rachel. Like, I kind of depend on like the few people that watch my channel for an intelligent response-ish. Oh my God. Oh, comments are turned off for a reason. Echo. There's not an echo anymore. Information overload. No, just guess. Just guess. You guys followed 9/11. You're like, I know that building couldn't have fallen because the plane didn't hit it. That's all I want. You don't have to think that hard. Why are there only AI robots reporting about Robert David Steele's death? It's not that hard of a question. Well, that's pretty true. Richard, that might be right. You might be right. I know you're listening, but you're not guessing. You're not interacting. You're like, when I ask you a question, and here is the question, and I'll end the stream. The question is this. Why, when an ex-CIA agent, I'm not going to say hundreds, thousands of people interviewed him. Like thousands of people. And when he dies, there's only a reporting of Robert David Steele died and in the hospital of it, or there's a British accent. Robert David Steele died of COVID-19. Like, you need to give me that answer because you guys, I depend on you guys. I'm not just here to entertain. I want you to engage and help me out with this answer because Oh my God. No, his friends were not just robots. He traveled the fucking country. He went to 18 different states before he died, Richard. Like, did you see? Rewind the video. He traveled the country. There are people clapping for him on stage with him. No, that's a horrible, horrible answer. Oh my God. I'm sorry. You guys have disappointed me so much. I feel like I came here for hope and I got, well, it's a simulation. We're all just going to die. Maybe his friends are robots. Ugh. I thought you guys were smart. Ugh. Jennifer, what did you say? You answered me. Let me scroll up. Jennifer said, here we go. They know we expect them to talk about it, so they initially stay silent. They're messing with us. They know we expect them to talk about it. Who's we and them? We know. Oh, they know we're going to. No, I don't really think they think about it that much. I think that's just, nope. Well, Richard, I get that. You never heard of it. Maybe turn off CNN and Fox. Listen to like people traveling the country who want to wake you up to sovereignty and not paying taxes and, figuring shit out, being a part of the solution. Okay, I give up. I love you guys. Jennifer, I appreciate you for trying. The rest of you, I'm sorry. I give up. Like none of you. You know what? I'm going to ask Sacha Stone. He traveled with him in a bus for days. I guarantee Sacha will have the answer. And it's going to have something to do with sacred geometry or the moment of transmutation, geometry, something about geometry, which I failed in high school. So I won't be able to understand it. All right, then ask Juan. I did play Juan for 45 minutes and he did try to explain it. But point is, Robert David Steele was sick. He did not have good health in general. He was overweight and he was traveling. And I do know from traveling the world in a year, going to 18 countries and 35 states, yeah, you have to be healthy. I mean, I got sick and there was no COVID. Like, it's not, it was because of COVID or no. You don't eat right. You're overweight. You travel more than like 2 states a month. You're going to get sick. Simple as that. Don't give up. Don't give up. Oh my God. Man, if this was BRANDNEWTUBE, I'd play that song right now. That's why it's going to be so much fun to be on BRANDNEWTUBE. So everybody here in the room right now, all 37 of you, please, for God's sake, for Jesus' sake, for Buddha's sake, go to BRANDNEWTUBE, sign up, because I'm not going to be here. Probably after tonight, it's going to be done. Done and done. Monday at 1 p.m., which is what I hope to do from now on, from this moment on BRANDNEWTUBE, every single Monday at 1, a live. So, Labor Day, Monday at 1 p.m., I will be live with Sacha Stone on YouTube, but then it's going to cut off because they're going to take down my channel. Let's be honest. We all know what's going to happen. And then BRANDNEWTUBE, okay, at 1 p.m. on Monday. If you can't show up, you can't show up. Just know you'll find me there because this channel is done and done. This channel is done and done. Okay. So let me end with something on a positive note-ish. If you don't know who, I never saw Sacha Stone. I never saw Robert. Blah, blah, blah. All right. I'm going to end with something inspiring, you guys. This is a combination of Sacha Stone's advice to me about dealing with humanity and animals dying and whatnot. Kind of the really wise words. I'm going to share this right now. I think you got to end it on an up. On an up. You got booted. No one got booted. Oh, after you mentioned his name. Yeah, well, guess what? Welcome to China. Here we go. Okay, listen to this beautiful, inspirational moment of the words that I hope will inspire y'all, because they inspired me. So let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, not that one. Not that one. Sorry. Here we go. Share, and here we go. This is beautiful. Only 2 minutes long. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you hear it or no?
Resolution within oneself, which is to acknowledge that whatever one is facing in front of oneself.
Hold on. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. We don't give up. We don't give up. We don't give up. This is what you've learned from tonight. You don't give up. You don't give up. Here we go. I got it. I got it. I got it. Here we go. And all right.
Be able to make peace with life, one needs to ultimately come to a point of resolution within oneself, which is to acknowledge that whatever one is facing in front of oneself at any moment in time is perfect geometry of now as it relates to the resonance of your soul, and to have to acknowledge and accept and exceed the fact that if something is distasteful to you in the now, including watching the animal being tortured, it is speaking to an unresolved aspect within your psyche that you do need to resolve, because you will not be bringing those tones and those colors and those textures and those frequencies into the hologram had they been fully resolved within actualized self. So life thereby and therefrom issues as a perfect alchemical laboratory where each of us are the wizard or the warlock or the witch or the alchemist, and we have to acknowledge that everything is perfect in all ways, and more than that, to take it to a transmutative principle where once we have aligned fully with the geometry of now and made peace absolutely with the alpha and the omega in the singularity of now, that is the point at which we can then become the manifestors and the creators of outcomes, and ultimately merge with our godliness, with the Godhead, and become manifestors and steer outcomes, whether it's at a micro level or at a macro level of even, becoming one with the gods and steering planets and galaxies and entire quadrants of the cosmos. There is no limit to the capacitance of our genius. As a fractal of the Godhead, we contain the power and the majesty of the ineffable. We need to know that in order to activate it, quite simply put. And we can only know that if we are absolutely still within the perfected geometry of now, as a pure witness.
Okay, that to me is really beautiful. If you don't get that, I can't help you. Really can't help you. I'll end it with this. I can't, John Nelson, I can't click on links. I appreciate you though, and I will look at it later if this still stays up. Yes, it's only when we step into our Christ-minded nature and own it and know that for sure we can completely feel the transition of the universe by being understand that we can acknowledge the other shit that's going on, and I think that's important. That's what I'm doing. But I also believe more than anything that the more that we step into our Christ-minded nature, the more that we own it and say, I live fully protected. And by the way, I am a baptized child of God, and no harm shall come to me. And if you have any issues with me, bring it up with the Father, because I am born in the water, of the water. And study maritime law, guys, because once you know how important the water is, yeah, this is land. We were born of the water. Therefore, if you actually do say that in the court of law, they can't touch you. There's so many things I'm learning. It's so amazing. Learning sovereignty is like the best thing I've ever learned in this entire world. Truly, truly. We'll do more videos about that. But yeah, death is a doorway. And by the way, people are just a little bit too afraid of death. I think once you own it, yes, yes, maritime admiralty law. Like, guys, you have to understand that when you actually own who you are, and Ken Claudio, if he owned who he was, they can't touch him. They literally can't fire him. I almost wish I was in a job where I could walk up and say, if you can sign this form that says you will take 100% responsibility for any adverse reactions that happens to me, I will take this. I will absolutely take the job. If you can sign that and say you'll take responsibility, and they won't. And when they refuse, guess what? You didn't refuse it. They refused you. It's all trickery. That's why they call language spelling. Spelling. Guys, this is a really, really amazing time that we are living in right now. We have the opportunity to own our worth. We have the opportunity to own our sovereignty. We have the opportunity to stand in our truth, to stand with God, and to say, I choose the invisible over the visible, because the invisible is eternity. The visible is transient. We come and go, right? Once you have more faith in the invisible than the visible, your power exceeds anything. And they are so afraid. They're so freaking out. Do you understand how much they're freaking out right now? Who's they, Rachel? Who's they? Who's they? I'll tell you who they are. BlackRock, Vanguard. Look up those little hedge fund companies and the people are attached to that. Hashtag Travelocity, Amazon, Verizon, Apple, Facebook, everything is under the guise of this monetary system. And they want you to believe that you're controlled by it, but you're not. You're sovereign. You're straw man. Your name is in all caps. All caps. Rachel, there's Rachel Reenstra and Rachel Reenstra. One's a straw man, and one's the sovereign being. Ironically, the sovereign being is not in all caps. They own you with those all caps. And by the way, I'll leave you with this. Never, ever, ever put your signature on anything. And if you don't, you're fine. You're fine. When you know what you know, they can't touch you. And by the way, I'm completely protected in this bubble of sovereignty, born again, baptized in water. And you don't understand how powerful that is, because you can literally break the spell. If you ever were brought to court and you literally said, I'm born again, baptized in water, a child of God, any grievances you have against me, please bring to the Father. They would let you go. They literally, you'd have to leave. You would be let go. That's how powerful you are. Uh-oh, you might have to be more powerful than anyone else. Not than anyone else. You're just more powerful than the rules they pretend that you. There's a Black Mirror episode. And in this Black Mirror episode, at the end of it, it's like episode 4, and it's so amazingly true because they have to tell you through media and through movies. This episode is so incredible. It's kind of a dating episode about true love and how, these couples are brought together and they get a watch, and in the watch, it tells them how long they have together. It's an incredible. I would say if you want to know about life, watch Black Mirror, the first series. episode 4 is about this dating thing. Anyway, at the end of it, I want to tell you what happens, but they just look at each other and realize that let's just go through that wall that they said we can't go through. And then they walked through it, and they realized that it was everybody's belief in that wall that made everyone constricted to this reality that they all created by believing in a system that you have more power than them. It's us believing that this wall can be broken through that makes it a wall. But if we literally just walk through it and you have someone else holding your hand and you just walk through it. I broke so many rules today. I won't tell you what ones. We'll talk about that later. And, I had a car full of people and they're like, well, how did you do this? And I said, because I know who I am. And when I do this, no one sees it because I'm walking by faith, not by, I'm going to show them. No. It's walking by faith and knowing who I am as a child of God. No harm or anything can come near me. And by the way, if I do die tomorrow and you get someone download this video, awesome. Because guess what? There is no death. Uh-oh. If you knew that, then nobody would be able to control you. Oh my God. Uh-oh. A little too much truth. Better bring some comedy. So if I had to relay this as an animal, and you're trying to tell an animal about death, and the animal's like, no, I don't want to die. I'm going to show this. If you didn't get what I just said, because I understand there are people that don't get it. So. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? Right? Okay. So I hope that explained a little bit more of what I was saying. Sometimes you need animals to explain things. And yeah, I think I'm going to end it with one of my favorite songs ever. Feel this, guys. Feel it. Because, by the way, if you ever are in a place where you feel like you're going to kill yourself or you're alone, play music. Music is like the key that no one wants you to know will change your life. Whether you can play it or not, when you hear it, like something like this, will raise your vibration instantly.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
See? These little clips I have will bring your vibration up before you go to sleep. So,
Leave the dog alone, Gene. Leave the dog alone.
All right, I'll end on this. It just makes me laugh so hard. Oh man, I love you guys. Remember, Monday at 1 p.m., I will be talking to Sacha Stone, and I'll be so incredibly happy to hear what he's got to say. And you know, it's gonna be something that ain't gonna be allowed here. But so for anyone that feels alone on YouTube or anyone else that sees this, understand that when you tell someone the truth, this is what they hear. Okay, hang in there, because we're all with you singing the same song. Sorry, I could watch that all night. I really could. But all right, good night, guys. And by the way, I just commented this. All hail. Take care, Melinda Mile, guys. I'm gonna go live again if I'm still here tomorrow night. I'll go live tomorrow at 10 again. At 10 again tomorrow. Thank you, Taz. Thank you, Richard and Zoom, and everyone that showed up tonight. It does matter. We all matter. Every single one of us. And I want to thank everyone on my Patreon channel, which the fact that even people still pay me $5 a month or $10 a month, it does matter. It really matters, because I don't have a TV show anymore, and I never ask for money. And so everyone that's on my Patreon channel, I appreciate them. And I just want to say thank you for all of them. And by the way, let's just give a shout out. We do love you, Ken. Even if you get jabbed, we will love you through it, no matter what. No matter what. So let me end with, already did morning, Sunday morning, and it is Sunday morning. But I feel like, God, what is it will never not be funny. I'm going to end with a never not be funny. Hashtag NNBF. I think this one. And then I'll be gone. I promise. But this is kind of an epic one, and it's about masks. So I'll end with this. Mwah. Love you guys. I'll be here tomorrow at 10. If I won't and they take me down, I will always be on BRANDNEWTUBE Monday at 1. All right? BRANDNEWTUBE.com. Here we go.
No. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Just a few questions regarding masks. Do I wear a mask in a shopping centre? Yes, Jason! Of course you do! Right, but there is a lot of space. You could probably social distance. What about a cafe? Oh, you don't have to wear it in a cafe. Don't be stupid. What if I go to the cinema? You must wear a mask in the cinema. It's a matter of public health. What are you, stupid? Do you want to infect the whole country? In the cinema, you wear a mask. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, Jason! Did you order popcorn? Yeah, of course. What's a movie without popcorn, hey? Well, then that's fine. You can eat your popcorn for the whole movie with your mask off. Right, okay, so when I'm eating, I don't have to wear a mask. That is correct, Jason. So do I have to wear a mask on a plane? Yes. But if I'm eating? No. In a gym? Yes, Jason. If I'm exerting myself? No. So all of the places I have to wear a mask, if I'm eating, it's fine. Must be safe at all times, Jason. Unless you're eating, because people have to eat. And drinking. You don't have to wear a mask if you're having a drink.
So you never wear a mask then?
What did you say, Jason?
Nothing. What about at a concert? A human nature... what about at a concert? A human nature concert?
Well, Jason, you have to sit down in your seat, and there's no dancing. Unless you want to dance in your seat, then you can dance.
Oh, okay. So I can sing along to the tunes from my seat as well?
No, Jason, there'll be no singing. That spreads germs, Jason.
Oh, okay. What about the guys on stage?
Of course they're singing, Jason. They're singers, you idiot.
Okay. Because it's very noisy at a concert like that, can I yell loudly to my friends?
Don't see a problem with that at all, Jason.
Right, so no singing, but yelling loudly is fine. Okay, right.
Would there be anything else, Jason?
Oh, one more thing. Just if you're sick, what do you do if you're feeling a bit sick?
Jason. If you have any symptoms at all, you stay at home. You don't go to work, and you don't leave your house. But you also need to go and get a test. And line up for 4 hours with lots of other people trying to get a test. Coughing and spluttering in the queue. Do that. It's a matter of public health, Jason. I'm going home. Goodbye.
See, I always end it. I mean to end it. And then I can't because I want to end it with the right thing. And then people are like, oh no, we want to see Sunday morning. And then I have to find that and end it with that. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's not easy to be a cartoon in this world, but you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it for you guys. I will do it. I'll end it with Sunday morning because it is Sunday morning. It officially is Sunday morning.
Out of your quiver, you're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take